around the board. Well, first off, everybody, welcome. This is going to be episode 9 of the hot seat. If it's not episode 9, I apologize. We've been banging out a few of these episodes every single week. We didn't end up doing an episode last week because it was Valentine's Day. So if you guys were looking forward to that, I apologize. But those end of the year holidays are over because you guys know how the end of the year holidays is like you get things from Thanksgiving to Valentine's is like the boo season. That's boost season. If you,
Yeah, yeah.
that's it's an interesting time there. That's one long like extended holiday there. But regardless, that holiday season is over, and it's all about making that content. It's game time. So today on the hot seat, I'm being joined with Brohog, Phased, and CrazyTrain. And one thing about the show is that I always love talking to new community members, people who entered the scene, people who've been here for a while, and understanding what is their take on the current state of Gears. Do they like it? Do they not like it? And for them to kind of share their opinions. And this is what we use the show for, right? And so throughout the show, if you guys got some questions, the homie Noxious is out there. He'll get those to me as well by the end of it. But let's go around the table and guys say, what's your name, what's your gamer tag, what's your favorite Gears, and where can people, a little social, So let's start with CrazyTrain.
All right. My name is Andy Osborne. Gamer tag, the new one. We had to rock it. Hive CT. And my favorite Gears of War is 3 because that's like I grew up playing non-shooters. Like I wasn't allowed to play M games, so I was only allowed to play like flying games and stuff like that. But the first game I played was Gears of War with my dad, and so he got me into it. He'd always gone to all the midnight releases. So my first like M game was Gears 3. I played that with my dad, so that's definitely got to be the favorite.
Yo, that's awesome. So you were playing the flight simulators? That was.
Yeah. I play inverted now because I play like flying games and stuff.
Oh, yo, I know a few people who do that just because of them being inverted off flying simulators. So maybe we play some Ace Combat. You got the whole setup at home?
Oh,
you got the flight stick?
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about it later. All right, yo, coming up next is Phased.
Yeah, how's it going? My name's Chuck, or in the community known by Phase, former coach, just like CrazyTrain. And I want to have to say my favorite Gears title is definitely 2. That's definitely when I stepped into the Gears 2 competitive scene. And I want to say one of the main things that kind of got me intrigued, I guess, interested in all of that was just seeing these guys move around. Like, it's crazy, and then bodies just flying everywhere.
Yeah.
With that being said, it just, went home the next day, got the game, started playing, and now we're here. And social wise, everyone can find me on Twitter. It's just Phase562.
All right, yeah. Like it is. When it comes down to giving other players in Gears, getting those shotgun chunks, it is a great feeling. That's why we all are still here today, whether you want to be or not. Now, last but not least, is Brohog from No Mercy Esports. They got a team in a pro league. Brohog, tell us about yourself.
What's up, guys? My name is Brohog. I'm the COO of No Mercy Esports. Personally, myself, the game that got me into Gears of War was Gears of War 2 as well. I was very intrigued by the movement, and it basically sparked my competitive interest in gaming in general.
Nice.
Yep.
So Brohog, how long has No Mercy Esports been in the gear scene?
So I met the owner Legacy via Twitter just before San Diego, and I'm a huge fan of the Gears of War community and scene. So I kind of convinced him to grab a few teams for San Diego. So I'd say just before San Diego, we got into Gears. We've been in love with it ever since.
Nice. So, in San Diego just passing recently, what was that process, especially around San Diego? Gears 5 launched in an interesting state, not a state in which, most of the community like, but, progressively getting better as weeks go by. Entering the Gears scene around that time, what was the process like for you finding a team?
So I'll be completely honest. I wanted to compete myself. I tweeted out looking for a team, and I found Retro. Previously played for Hydra, and I didn't want to be the guy to, impede and break into a team and kind of change things up. So we ended up picking up Retro and Co. And then we ended up picking another team as well. So we sent 2 teams, and the second team consisted of Zuzu and Co as well. So we had 2 teams. It was fairly easy. All the players were really nice. We took care of them in San Diego, dinners and such. So I mean, it was fairly easy. It wasn't that hard.
Nice, nice. So for you guys, who are joining us and listening, when it comes down to the topics of today's podcast, we're gonna talk about, dedication from players, the state of the game, roster changes, kind of the careers and things after gears, and we'll talk a little bit about Hive because of course we got CrazyTrain, and Hive is undefeated in the pro league, and he's one of the only coaches to coach an amateur team, and kind of get them to that level, and then be on Hive, and now they're undefeated. So we're going to talk about those successes as well. But yeah, so let's talk. So going in from there, Brohog, I know you said you wanted to touch a little bit basis about dedication of the players, because one thing about this show is that I want to give you guys the platform to start these topics and say things that's been on your chest from things that you just kind of seen in the atmosphere in the community.
All right. So what I mean by dedication of players, I mean, pro league specific as well. I feel like regardless of the game state, players are given a huge opportunity to compete at a high level, and they're fully funded for the events.
Which is beautiful. We didn't have that back in my day.
100%.
We got a $250 stipend. That's what it was for the whole event.
Gas money.
Well, exactly. What I want to say, what I want to touch base on is players. I feel like players are taking these things for granted, and some people aren't getting enough scrim time in. Some people make up excuses, and I feel like there's teams out there who actually want it and have the passion and just aren't given their shot. So I really just want to see the players in the community band together, and just if you have a pro league spot or you're a top PGL team, personally myself, I don't want the game to die. So I really just want to see people more dedicated and show a bit more than they are. So that's just my point of view, and that's what I feel. So
I got a little bit of a hot take as far as like giving other teams in the community like more shots and whatnot. I think if you don't win a match in Pro League, you can't be in the next season. You can't enter in the tournament to go for a relegation spot. Like if you go like 1-5, like okay, you can get relegation. But if you don't win a single game, I think give someone else a shot. Right?
You don't even get to play in the next relegation tournament?
I don't even think you get to play in the next relegation tournament.
That's a hot take.
It is a hot take. It is a hot take.
So to touch base,
a lot of teams on the fringe. And
sorry.
No, go ahead.
To touch base on what you're saying, that's where dedication comes into effect too. I'm not going to say team names, but clearly we know there's 2 teams not attending Mexico, based off whatever reasons they want to do, which automatically relegates those teams. So I definitely agree with you in the aspect of not winning a game, but I feel like if teams were more dedicated, we wouldn't have 2 teams being automatically relegated off the rip. So it's kind of hard to kind of implement that if teams aren't showing interest or dedication to go to the actual land that they're fully funded for and just taking the $2,500 and leaving with it.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
So it's kind of hit or miss, right?
Like especially if you kind of, it's one thing is that those teams made it into the pro league. If you make it into the pro league and you're not gonna go to Mexico, then that's just like, that's just like that's kind of causing problems. Almost in a sense of that, if you are in a pro league, you at least need to make sure that passports are had. You know what I'm saying? I almost think that should be a requirement because, granted, I don't know, why the teams in the pro league won't be going now. We know that some people say they feel like Mexico isn't safe, so they don't want to go for those reasons. I got a personal opinion on that one. And then, so that's one reason. And then maybe not having passports is another. But if you're fully funded to go and you got the passports, then go.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Because that's the thing. Because I feel like it's definitely a bad look on there. FaZe, how you feel about what CrazyTrain said? And if you go 0-6 in a pro league team that you shouldn't get relegated. Well, my fault that you can't even play in a relegation tournament the next time.
I mean, I'd say yes and no depending on the situation. But if you're going 0-6, I think at that point it's back to the drawing board to figure something out because we've had some time already,
6 weeks.
So yeah, so I can definitely agree with him on that. You've had a shot, so why not let maybe some of these younger up and comers, that are hungry, try and do something, put them in their spot, or have someone else
But
have
the
a point system.
but the opportunity is there for those up and coming players. No, like the opportunity, the system is laid out. The grind
Yeah.
up to the top, the between performing in the Challenger Series every week to
Yeah.
getting those ladder matches.
Yeah.
Is the system good?
I
I want to say everyone was just way, way, way comfortable with game battles. So I think everyone's just still having a little bit of a hard time adapting to the PGL stuff. And don't get me wrong, PGL hasn't been the best about stuff. But I want to say just in time, I think things will fall into place and everyone will be happy, especially with all the backlash that's came against Coalition, Microsoft, and the Gears title.
my biggest thing about the format of it is you get one chance at that double elimination tournament, or I guess two chances then if you lose two matches, to get the spots in the Pro League, right?
Mhm.
You're in the Pro League. Between those two teams in North America alone who are getting relegated, they got 12 chances to win a game, right?
Yep.
And you only get
That's true.
2 shots if you're coming out of the amateur league. So that's like, a sixth of the opportunity. I think at that point, it's much more likely that a team has a bad day and then would have been a better team. But if you have a bad 6 weeks, like, oh man, come on.
But if you have a bad 6 weeks and go into the relegation tournament and you still whoop everybody's ass, then
Well, yeah, that's fair. That means we have a very, very, very large skill gap.
That-
And quite
agre-
honestly, I don't see that. I think a lot of these players have similar mechanical skill. I mean, there's definitely a curve, but I don't see a gap necessarily.
now it's something that's missing there. Rather, it's them showing dedication. If it's them needing a coach and knowing how to practice properly. Now, CrazyTrain, you've coached the amateur teams, and now you're
Yep.
coaching the best team in North American Division Bravo. What information are they missing there?
It's hard to tell because I haven't been with Hive through their process as they went from amateur to pro. But in a funny sort of way, I have. A lot of people don't know this. I coached Hive in 2019 in January and February, and they dropped me because I was a terrible coach. I was bad. And then I started working with Hydra and getting better, and that was me just like getting my feet under me, starting to learn the role and the process. And then
Mhm.
now in like September, October era, then I started working with Hive again, and it's just crazy to see how much better they are. And I don't know what secret sauce magic happened in late spring, summer. I can't tell you, but they're mechanically gifted. But everyone overlooks how smart this team is. Everyone looks how smart it is, and I don't know what it is. They have just so much experience and exposure to different scenarios that they're just smart. I honestly just think they're smarter.
When Hive was coming up, they were like, this team full of young goons. So I feel like all the top teams, they were like, yeah, we want some good practice. We don't want to, Scrim Rise, NRG, Rec. Let's go Hive, And then I think Hive throughout that process, as they were getting better scrims, they started picking up the game a little bit more, and they was
Yeah.
performing at LAN as well because. I would say that I love being an up and coming team that's like decent but not too good, because then at that point all the top teams will scrim you and use all their strats. All right. And they'd be
Right.
like, yeah, we won't see them in the finals, but they good enough for us to, get some good practice in. And at
Right,
that point
they're
you just
playing
take
the
hella
game-
notes.
They're playing the game properly because like there's a certain point when you have a pro team, and if they go to play an amateur team, the amateur teams aren't even playing the game properly compared to the pro team, so they can't even run, what they want to because they're just not even playing it properly. It wouldn't work.
Nah, yeah, it wouldn't work. And so and what's playing it properly though? Like what's
I
playing it
think-
not properly and playing it properly?
I think it's sort of a gray area, and I sort of like use like the buzzword of like not playing the game properly, but like you'll see tendencies, and like like we know certain people like play B, certain people play up top on certain maps, and we see like Latin American region plays it different than the European region and North American region. And I think it's sort of similar to that between like professionals and amateurs. Like amateurs will put numbers in certain places that just like aren't really advantageous.
Mhm.
And when you know that you're gonna win the majority of your gunfights, the game no longer is about chess. The game's no longer about rotations. It's just win your gunfights and then go chill on their hill when they're all gone.
Take your numbers, man. One thing in Gears of War that, execution, taught a lot of players was just that the main objective was numbers, man. Like how can you get a man advantage? How can you isolate one guy? Because if you were playing execution, you get the numbers early, you reset. At that point, the strats open up for you because you're not going to a stalemate with a man advantage. One team clearly becomes offensive team versus defensive team. And, being able to watch how teams creatively was able to push those was awesome. But now, based off a lot of people, playing Gears throughout 4 and 5 and getting into competitive scene, and King of the Hill even being one of the probably top playlists, is that people they're not easily able to see that opportunity no more with those game types. And I just feel like that they missed out on that lesson by just running around the map and always feeling like, okay, yeah, I got another life, or this is just how I'm gonna play this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Most definitely on that one. So we seen recently how when it came down to these updates that came out and just the state of Gears now compared to where it has been these last few weeks. Brohog, when it comes down to the state of the game, do you like the atmosphere these last few days and the changes in which has been made? And what have you noticed?
So based off what I'm told, so like I said, I don't really play the game much, and I have a lot of trust in the players in the community. So based off what I'm told and what I've been hearing, apparently the Nasher changes are a bit better, especially based off of what the guy from Rise, I'm not sure his name, he posted a video about he posted a video about trunk ranges or something like that. Domes, yeah, domes. Sorry.
Domes.
And then there was a huge just whole that post became a whole info spot basically. So I kind of read through that, and I feel like the game state, the movement speed is a bit too fast. I feel like it's a lot faster than it should be, in my opinion. But I feel like the natural changes, based off what I'm hearing and small amount of times I've played, are a bit better. So that's my opinion on game state.
And so to give you guys, a little bit of update on what he's talking about, what Gears did, they released a blog. It's on gears5.com in the news section. And what this blog is, it just kind of details the movement and combat roadmap mechanics. Now, one of the ways in which they plan on combating the game at a faster movement speed is introducing these, momentum and slowdown points in the game where from what I read on it, the way that the movement speed is now is probably going to, stay the same, but there's things going in place. Like, for example, when it comes down to momentum and you're roadie running towards cover, they increase the speed out of it, so it's one fluid movement. But if you roadie run towards cover and you don't up A, then you've lost your momentum. So at that point, when you up A, probably like a second or so later, you're going to come out at a slower speed, right? So if you're going to choose to fly, you got to fly. But if you stop at any point, then you're going to slow down and lose all that momentum. Same thing. One other thing that they said is that when it came down to the wall bounce cancel, that every cancel in which you make, you're going to be losing that momentum from whatever speed in which you started canceling. So you start to kind of slow down from that point to a base level. And then when it comes down to omnidirectional rolling, the front 3 directions, when you roll, it's going to be slower shooting out of it because that's going to be considered as a misroll versus, I want to say, the back 5 directions. As you roll backwards, you'll be able to shoot quicker out because it's more going to be considered more of a defensive play style, and for you to be able to counter somebody that's rushing you.
My favorite change they did numerically, this was actually in phase 1 that they released, is the base walk acceleration was increased by 50%. And the reason I like that is because they're talking a lot about poke damage. They're talking a lot about, trying to lengthen these fights. And if you don't increase your base walk acceleration, like your ability to strafe without a roadie run, then it's useless because everyone's can hit every single shot. So now it feels like you're jousting. You're able to dodge shots just by laterally strafing more. I think that's awesome. They also increased the slide to cover speed is increased. So in theory, the speed of your movement is faster while bouncing.
And to comment on your walk acceleration, I agree with you on that. I think that is super awesome. Because beforehand, when it was a little bit too slow, I personally felt like the way that I was able to quickly move around the map was sliding to cover. So I'm wall bouncing and sliding to multiple covers, and even to change direction quicker than spinning around and turning is the slide. So
right. And I like the roadie run to shoot delay is decreased as well. I think just everything about this game has been pushed forward and movements faster. And I like that because it feels like we have a very, very powerful Nasher. And there have been a lot of questionable things moving on, talking about how, how aggressive it sticks, aim assist, blah, blah, blah. People feel like they get punished for being out of cover. And although Gears 5 is a cover-based shooter, the majority of the plays and fights, Nasher fights, have nothing to do with like usually get cover. You're not like hiding over top.
We can't even.
What
Can
I
we
mean,
call
what I mean
it?
by that,
But you're right. Because it's like over these last few months, I don't even know if we can call it a cover-based shooter anymore.
right. So that's I guess the history of Gears, and it's changing a lot. But I really, really like how it's making it where dodging shots is getting easier, and I think that's important as the Nasher gets stronger.
I agree with that. I definitely do agree with that, and being able to kind of have that counter play style towards the faster play style,
Mhm.
And now as all these changes, especially are being made to the game, and it being taken to the next level, but throughout these last few months, we've had the changes happening, but some players have had enough, and some players have transitioned to other games and moved away from Gears. Now, FaZe, you being one of those players who've kind of looked at, okay, what else is out there? With the new changes that's happening, does that entice you to possibly come back? And why did you leave? FaZe, you there?
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, my service here is awful. Say it one more time.
I say, so what I was saying was that now, as you being, I said as the changes are happening within the game, and the game is progressively getting better over the last few months. We've had a terrible, the game has had a terrible first impression on new players who have came and came for the first time. And even, the negative atmosphere around the game on social media has probably diverted players to other games. Now, even with the changes, you're being one of those players that kind of walked away from a bit with the changes that are currently happening. Does that entice you to come back?
It definitely, I guess you could say, enables me to play a little bit more on the casual side. Just the way things were, I want to say, a couple months ago, it was almost unplayable. I want to say my biggest concern in regards to it, and for the new people, usually people don't pick up a new game unless they have a friend that kind of recommends it to them, or the first time they see it, it has a really good first impression on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So usually when people go in and play the game, they want to party up, play ranked together, and that was one of the biggest things that you could not do even during the tech test all the way up until I don't even know if you can do it. I haven't opened the game in I want to say like a week or so, but it's that was my biggest concern because I'm trying to bring new people in. It
Mm-hmm.
came out on PC. People want to play on PC, mouse and keyboard. It opened up a whole new, I guess you could say, viewership and competitive players for Coalition when they put it on PC. And it's unfortunate because a lot of these players can't play together or play with their friends. They're forced to play in like scrims or private matches or even horde, something that's not as competitive as what they want to do.
So when it comes down, to finding games, especially with the PC players, it's still difficult for them.
Very, yes. And on top of that, it doesn't help that a lot of the Xbox players, and don't get me wrong, I can see why, but it doesn't help that a lot of the console players don't want to have their crossplay on, so that doesn't help much for PC players either.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't help. I personally, I got my crossplay on. I don't mind playing against PC players. Maybe that's because like the level in which I've played Gears. I'm always looking for a challenge, and if you think you good with mouse and keyboard, I will play you on Xbox with controller and take that lopsided battle and whoop you up.
They don't have a bolt top.
Oh that will suck actually.
And touching back on I guess you could say the tweets and the negative responses from a lot of people. And don't get me wrong, I haven't been the perfect person. I have tweeted some terrible things about the state and what's going on. But for the people that the game showcases, yes, the pro players, I understand a lot of them do get frustrated. It is a career for them. It is their income. They spend hours on end, a day, weeks, months playing this game. But the things that you guys say, a lot of the new people coming in are looking up to you guys, and they want to play. They're looking for tips, and if you're bashing a game that you make money off of or is your career, it doesn't really help anyone in the long run.
Man, I almost want you to say it one more time, just for whoever's listening, because when, as you said, some players, this is their career. They the prize money off Gears is a lot for them. They get salaries. And they've been playing this game for a while and they want to continue to do so. This is their home within esports. And it's hard to find a home in esports. It's hard to be, make it in the community, get known at a high level, and to really hold an impact. And so I fully agree with you that some players need to, if that's that for you, if Gears is part of your livelihood and you are at the top, then the way that the game portrays to the rest of the world affects you as well. What you say about it affects your pockets. That affects your money. At the end of the day, I understand that, you can get some likes off the negativity or, you're frustrated. I get it. We all are kind of frustrated. And I will tell you as somebody who's been here since 07, okay, I get a check too from Gears. I do a lot of casting from them and I want to see this game succeed. I want to see it succeed too, but does it frustrate me? Hell yes, it frustrates me sometimes. But, just being here, I know that if I was to join the fray and start, talking negative and sharing all my opinions on Twitter, that it wouldn't help nobody. And in the end, it just digs a little bit bigger hole for the community that somebody got to fill up eventually when things get fixed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that one.
I agree with that 100% as well.
Especially because it affects viewage. No one likes to watch people complain, especially if you're not in the community. If I don't know the person, like specifically complaining, it's like just background noise. Like when I see kids complaining about Fortnite vaults and things like that, I'm like, oh my God, shut up.
Yo,
the outside community looking at Gears, like complaining about the entire game nonstop. No one wants to watch that.
And then people out there, they like to go and say, but man, Jack, everything that Jack did for us, it's all going kind of, down the drain and all this other stuff. Like, Jack was influential in helping the scene get to where it was, and Jack put a lot of hard work into the scene. And if she opened doors and she put us in a spot that was awesome for people to take it away and try to take that to the next level. Even with Jack gone and all that hard work for her putting Gears in a certain spot and everybody else's hard work throughout that time and throughout the time in which Gears was there with MLG, like, why are we gonna take a crap on all that hard work and bring it down rather than trying to, do our best and be patient until we can get it to the next level? Because when I see all the complaining and stuff like that, I'm gonna be like, what you're saying is, is kind of valid, but in turn, you are hurting all the work in which they did. Because people look, especially people who don't play Gears and they follow community figures, they will follow them and they're like, all right, what's this guy's opinion on what it is? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take his opinion. I'm going to take his opinion because, I kind of know this guy. I don't watch Gears. I don't follow too many people's, but I follow this dude. And I'm really interested to see what he got to say. And you see him saying crap. And it's like, oh man, Gears is back to being Gears, or that's Gears. And I'm really sensitive about how we're looked at throughout the entire world of esports. I don't know how many people look at it from that far, but I want us to be a tier 1 esport. And if the game is not right, then the community have to be better. The game can't be right and we be trash as well.
We gotta pick up the slack, man, because when we generate good things about this game, it creates better things for the game itself. And that was super freaking vague, and I meant that to be way more specific. When we're positive, when we make the community look good, that gives us breaths of life. We get more viewage, which generates money, which comes back to us. That money doesn't really go out to the coalition as much. Like, we get increased prize pools. We get, if you're partnered or affiliated, you're making money on your stream and things. Like, the better we make this game look, the better it will end up. And all of the changes that we've been complaining about have happened. They're just slower than we'd like, and we look like spoiled kids.
I'm glad you mentioned that. You said turn on the streams. That's another major thing. A lot of the people who have a reputation or have a big name in this community, you don't see them stream at all. And if you do, it's maybe, if you're lucky, once a week, once every 2 weeks.
But they say it's not people watching, so they don't want to turn it on. They don't want to turn it on to get 5 viewers and be a pro player.
I average like 2.2.
You put any pro player up there. I see any pro player averaging over 50 viewers, and that helps. Believe it or not, that may not seem like a lot to them, but that helps. Just having that's content.
And my thing is, even if you're a part of an org, like, go for your org's fan base and try to, pull your org's fan base from different games over to Gears. Even if it's not the hardcore Gears people who are always watching, like, hey, it starts somewhere, right? It starts somewhere. And even when it comes down to, all of Twitch, they can say, yeah, but if the game's better, we'll get more viewers. No, how? And what? How? Like, I don't get that part. Okay, cool. The game gets fixed. Now more viewers, more people are going to be watching it on Twitch. Now, I don't.
Here's the other thing is when you stream, everyone talks about personal branding, right? And when you stream, that's generating your own personal brand. I don't exclusively stream Gears. I stream like COD gunfight tournaments. I'll stream Rocket League with my friends from high school, and I get people from the Rocket League scene coming into my stream. And when they see me excited and entertaining, they're gonna follow my stream a lot. That way, when I am streaming Gears, they're excited to see, oh, CT's at it again. Oh, he's playing a new game. Oh, he's playing competitive. Oh, his team is ranked 4th in the world. They just like took 2 steps and took the whole distance into being a Gears esports fan.
And you touch spaces on something important because I think it's not about fans of the game watching other people play the game. It's about you and people who like you. It's about you and your fan base. It's about you and your brand, you and your following on YouTube or Twitch. And it's saying that, hey, it's people out there who support me. Let me give them an avenue to be able to talk to me directly. Let me give them a place to be able to come and let me, share my opinion on and share my gaming experience with them.
I agree with what CT's saying, and a perfect example is Domes. I mean, when he streams Smite, I still see all of his Smite viewers in his Gears stream. So I mean, he's bringing viewers from other games and watching Gears of War, right?
Yeah,
and that's because he's honestly on the grind, and I feel like he's passionate about what he does. So like you said, CT, you stream other games, and per se, you're streaming Rocket League. If you have 10 viewers from Rocket League, come watch your Gear streams. I mean, it's better for our game. You know what I mean? So I definitely agree with what you're saying.
I think if all pro players put out one form of content a week, rather if the form of content is one YouTube video from one scrim, one stream on the weekends, one Twitter highlight clip of their pieces, just one piece of content. That's it. Not 5, not 10, not 30-hour streams, not 40. Just one piece.
But that goes back to, like we talked about earlier, it's a level of dedication, right? So I personally feel, and please, if you want to quote me on this, go ahead. I feel like, and I'm going to touch base on pro players. Yeah, I understand you guys are out there playing the game for 12, 14 hours a day. But,
I got a question for you guys on the outside. That when it comes down to, that high level of gameplay, where do you guys go to learn how to play the game at that high level? Like, when it comes down to all the community members that are out here currently, all the people that's making content, if you want to learn how to run a better strat on district, training grounds, and get your team better, who do you go to?
I mean, I know people who use YouTube as a platform.
I was going to say people use YouTube as a platform. I'd say UMG Gaming. Oh my God. You get weekly tournaments, matchups, cross-divisional, cross everywhere on maps. Oh my God.
But that's entertaining. Like, those are matches. That's entertaining content right there. Like, but when it comes down to a top player teaching amateurs how to effectively be better at Gears, is any players doing that?
Anyone does that.
Easy Ashes. Hands down.
Ashes, 100%. Yeah, okay.
Oh, well, coach.
Okay. So Ashes, and I was thinking Ashes too, right? I was like, I know definitely Ashes does that when it comes down to in-games gameplay, but is the players saying their opinion on it? But I don't know if they even want to teach other people how to play. Maybe
people work off incentives, right? We do things because it's good for us. And for a professional player to spend time teaching an amateur player, not only does it not have any positive incentive, it has a negative incentive, because if that person gets really good and learns all your strats, they might end up beating you, right? So we're in a really hard spot because we need to have either some sort of reward system to offset the negative incentive, or have someone who's like, I don't know, like comes as the prophet, and is willing to take that hit to fix the community.
Hold on, I'm gonna stop you right there, because this is my pet peeve from when I was competing back in the day. When teams said, oh man, we don't want to show our strats, right? We ain't trying to show you this and that. And I'd be thinking in my head, like, how much fucking depth in your strategy are you not trying to show? Because I know what y'all running every single round. You know what I'm saying? I know what's being thrown out there. And especially the way the game has transitioned till now, it's more reactive in the mid round outside of the initial. You may have a secret smoke that you throw that you may save for land, or you may use once every other round just to see if it works during a scrim. But when it comes down to breaking down positionally what you do and how you think about the map, it like, so for example, when it came down to execution, right now, execution is a little bit different, but I feel like it had more strategy than what escalation has now, because we had about 5 different initial starting strats, right? To come out on a round.
Yeah.
I may only show you 3 of those, but even still, I will go into those same 3 in detail, saying, hey, when I'm here, if I see numbers, if I see 2 men go that way, this is what I think. If I see 1 guy go this way, this is what I think. And kind of breaking down a thought train of why you do what you do, and put it in a sense of a pro player to help educate people. But I just always hated that excuse of we don't want to show our strategy to people.
Right.
And I just think that's lame, because I don't think it's
Honestly,
that in depth
what
now.
I think might be also sort of a little bit of another smaller hot take, is that when you talk about having 5 or 6 strategies that you could pull out every single round, it's because in execution, I will talk UE, you had 4 objectives or 5 objectives,
Mhm.
4 objectives, 4 people to kill. Those are your 4 objectives, and that was it. So you have a strategy to solve 4 problems, right? In
Yep.
Gears of War, you play for the neutral hill or you play for map control. That's only 2 problems to solve, with maybe a fun trick strat in there, which is 3, right? So
Yep. But
you're only gonna need a couple, 2 to 3 solutions at
and,
maximum per map.
maybe a home hill setup in a neutral hill to home hill setup, but not every map even gives you an opportunity to do a home hill setup, right? And so, but
Exhibit, for instance.
correct, like Exhibit, and like the first. Well, I've seen people do it on the first half of Training Grounds, just because the overextension and how much open area once you control overlook, so you can't do it on that map.
Yeah.
But even just showing teams to say, hey, this is our base strat for the 2-to-1. This is our base strat on the home hills. Now check this out. Even if your opponent knows that, they still have to react to it in game. And certain strategies that, if you are at a top level, you're always counting heads. And when you see 3 heads in a certain area of the map, you should know what their play is, because unless they run into the other half of the map, which is giving you more time, they don't have a lot of options. All right. So once you see the 3 group, you should already be saying, hey, y'all, they coming this way. Can we get an extra guy? Yeah. You should be able to counter that so easily. But that comes down to a level of understanding for everybody. But yeah, I don't think that's bad information to give out and make that clear to amateur players to bring more teams in the scene that will ultimately make the top teams more lucrative.
Yeah, and I would say just for to use us as an example, Hive's not sneaky. I don't think we're really known for being sneaky. Everyone sort of knows what we do. We just go out and just kill as many people as possible, and we just bully our way through map control. Everything revolves around our ability to win consistent shotgun fights. There's nothing sneaky about that, and so and we still, people know what we're gonna do, and we still win.
And you can still win. And that's the thing is, you can know what I'm gonna do, but that don't mean that you're gonna stop me in a given moment. Okay,
that makes it even more satisfying, because you're like, I told you what I'm gonna do, and
I showed you the strat, and you still can't beat us, because in the moment your team isn't playing as fast as we are. You guys aren't communicating as fast, and if the teamwork ain't there, it ain't there. Okay,
that's what happened in Gears 4 with Optic.
Yeah,
everyone knew what they did. There was very few surprises.
And they studied them. They studied it. They watched. I'm pretty sure everybody watched so much film on how to be just like Optic, and they still kept getting their ass kicked because they couldn't win the fight. So, and that's that, right? And so that's why, that's another reason of why I don't like this excuse of we don't want to show our strategy. But now, Brohog, I know you got to go soon.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
I was gonna let you kind of take the mic and take the next topic, or speak on that.
Before I touch topic, I just want to touch base on what I said earlier about the time spent playing the game. So I know I'm reading your chat as we speak. So I know Alex and Vora were saying no one plays the game for that long, and I guess the reason I said that long is because obviously I'm involved in an organization. We have other teams, other esports, and I see how much time they put in. So I kind of felt that.
And in comparison, for the people on Spotify, they were saying long, 12 to 6 hours. So continue.
But you know what I mean, right? Of course, I don't expect guys to play for 12 to 14 hours, but I have, I can give an example. My Apex guys play for that long because they want it, and they're not even pros yet. So I just feel like pros, not having to work or do things outside, if that's the situation they're in, are able to play the game longer. So I just wanted to touch base on that. I don't want people to think that I expect anyone to play that long, but I feel like if you have the time, put the time in. So I just want to touch base on that, because I'm reading a chat. Now I don't know the topic you have on board that we can touch base on.
But I will say to kind of wrap that up, and even on their defense, there is that I play a lot of Apex, and Apex is a different, level of satisfying.
No,
When
for
it,
sure.
yeah, it's a different level of satisfying. But
Of course.
when you make a decision that I'm going to be a top player and I want to be a pro player in this game and I want to compete at a high level in this game, then you got to put the time in, no matter what it is, right? You got to
course,
make
of
it
course.
meaningful for you, even if you just shooting bots all day and that's meaningful because you're getting repetition in, or you're mastering a weapon, whatever it is, make it meaningful for you.
So the reason I brought that up again, to bring it back, not to kind of drag on the conversation, but Apex went through, when their last patch season 2 was released, there was a huge issue with game sound. But players were still putting time in. So I know your chat said the game, it doesn't give anything to play that long. It's not fun. It may not be that, or whatever it may be. I understand that. I just, in my opinion, in my point of view, if you have the time, why not put it in? That's all I want to say. It's not about
I feel you on
anyone
that.
doing it, right? So I just wanted to put that out there.
I definitely feel you.
I think it goes back to the incentive thing I'm talking about. Is there an
100%.
overwhelming incentive? And
100%.
Gears, especially even being in Pro League, knowing that you're a guaranteed spot for 6 weeks, and
and some of them
there's
still
no
approach
ver-
that like, right? Some of them still
Yeah.
approach it like, it's whatever. It's the pro league, and I'm just like, bro, it's still money in there.
It's wild.
It's still money in there, but like,
It's wild.
it's just this. I'm like, yo, you still playing for some money, like,
Yeah.
I watched the
Like,
Vexies and Enzum walk away with $3,000. Actually, watched them walk away with probably like $6,000 once you think of the cost for the plane tickets and hotel of the trip in which they won. I'm like, that was $6,000 of money in 4 weeks. Oh, it's on Thursdays. We don't want to play that bullshit. We got scrims. Like, it's money though. We don't want to do it.
man.
It's not. I'm like, yo, it's money on the line.
And like my team was jokingly messing with me, saying like, "Yo, CT, don't fuck up when you play on Sunday. That's a $2,000 match." Joking about it because if we lose that, then we're tied with Azer, right? And they're a lot closer. It looks a lot worse than undefeated, right?
It's still a $2,000
$2,000
match.
That's
right?
bread. That's money in your pockets, man.
That's like, I'm a college student, bro. I'm buying dollar McChickens on Friday nights. Like, bro, that's a lot of money.
No, I feel it. And I didn't want to kind of like stir the pot at all. That's my point of view. So I just want to get that out there. You know what I mean?
I feel you on that.
So
Definitely
yeah,
do.
man.
But
That's basically me.
but Brohog, I'm gonna let you do your little sign off real quick because I know you're about to leave soon. But at this point, tell people once again, where they can follow you and and how they can get a hold of you.
All right. Well, first off, I want to thank you for letting me be on the show. I'm sorry I'm cutting. I got called into work. You can find me at Brohog Plays on Twitter. You can follow the org on Twitter as well, and our @ is We Are the Enemy. Again, thank you. There's not much else to say. I'm really honored to be on the show. And that's basically it. Thank you, man.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming in and want to share your opinion from your point of view. And all community members' opinions are just as important as, no matter if you're a casual or a pro player, whatever. It's just all about giving people the space to kind of say what's on their mind, so we can get to where we got to get to as a whole, and it's not so much chaos everywhere. So.
Of course.
So I appreciate having you, dog.
And one last final thing before I disconnect is I just really hope the community can band together and we can get the game back to the game state we want.
I heard that.
This way we're all happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you on
Well,
that one.
I hope you guys have a good night, and thank you everyone for listening in and tuning in.
All right.
Later, guys.
Yo, peace out, Brohog.
Later.
Have a good one, bro.
Take care of business.
All right. So Brohog out of the scene there. And but once again, always good. It's good having him there, and getting a chance to talk to him for the first time. But yeah, now going doubling back a little bit towards the incentive, and money. Like I say, money is money. Money is money, and still the big majors are coming in, and teams still practice heavily for those majors. And hey, I'm with them. Like, if you're gonna put that much time, you want to have fun with what you're playing, right? And so I do agree with that can be frustrating, because I've put multiple hours in on a Gears game that that I felt like wasn't working, and I had to go to a tournament, and I'm like, all right, I can only play this for so much time throughout my day. So, but is now I guess the question is it not much the incentive and it's all just a game? Is it all just in game, or does the incentive need to be greater for more people to even want to come and play?
I think there are a couple different incentives. I think money
Okay.
is one of them. I think the other one, and I sort of read it in chat, Nox just talking about it, branding yourself and being able to benefit from that branding, I think is something that professional players often do, but you struggle to see in Gears of War because when you brand yourself, everything about your branding is focused on how many eyes are on you. How many eyes can you get on you, right? And the Gears scene right now is offering so few eyes
Mm-hmm.
or so few views on, and that makes it hard to justify putting in the extra work to make the content. And I think
Mm-hmm.
we need to step, but it's a circle because when we put in the extra work and the extra content, we get more eyes. So I
Yep.
think we need to like just fucking man up a little bit, put in that work, go into deficit and invest in yourself, invest in the scene, go into deficit, and then see what happens after you keep doing it, and then the scene grows. You're gonna reap those rewards.
And it's definitely a two-sided battle there because I agree with some people saying in a chat where that the game has a certain obligation, to make sure that they bring people in and make sure the game is fun for people to play, and then the players have theirs as well. I feel like for me personally, where my issue with that combination is that if the game is failing and the progress is being made, then I feel like the players need to say, okay, we understand that it's not where it needs to be, so we'll pick up a little extra slack, right? We'll pick up a little extra slack on our front until you guys get to where to get to. But when you guys get there, y'all owe us some love, all right?
Like Call of Duty, man, that game was so terrible to play when it first came out. So terrible to play, and claymores everywhere. And then when the professional
and they got their own
side of it,
they got their own broadcast issues over there with COD currently. Like they got a bunch. It's not looking too good over there right now.
COD did not look clean as it should when it first started, and there's a lot of complaints online. And I follow a bunch of COD players' Twitters and things, and it was really, really difficult. But like they still created content, and when they were annoyed at something, they would create content about it. But I think in Gears, when we talk about something, we just bash it on Twitter and leave it be. I think if you were to create a YouTube video that puts together like specific points and you're very, very clear about your problems, I think it's a lot better. Plus you get views and like ad revenue for creating actual content rather than just tweeting out angry stuff.
Yeah. FaZe, you haven't said much in a while. You want to make a comment?
I mean, I agree with CT on that. As much as like a lot of people didn't like it or disliked it, they still kind of kept pushing. And just like you said before, you start out doing that, and in the end, in the beginning when everything's bad, and in the end when it picks up, you're gonna reap the benefits from it. It's just plain and simple.
No, you definitely will.
And it goes back to just laziness. A lot of people just want things handed to them, or they just want stuff to happen. And it's not like that. That life isn't like that.
It definitely is not like that. And me, I'm a little bit more hardcore towards it because I come from I've played all these Gears games, and I vividly remember the state of each one and how many developers talk to us, and having to unplug my Ethernet cord on Gears 2 just to host a lobby so I can have LAN settings online because they introduced server-side updates and didn't give a damn about the esports on LAN. And everybody says Gears 2 is their favorite and it was their best competitive game, and we were all unplugging our Ethernet cords, bypassing server-side updates just to play LAN. And we were, we played a whole different game than the rest of the world, and we said, F it, we're gonna do this and make the best of it. And have fun. Yeah, right. And so and we still, kind of got the best. We made the best of those experiences that we had, and like even from those days to now, I think we still got way more, and we're in a way better state than what we used to be. And even our game itself, even if people don't like, where it is now, it's still kind of better than what it used to be. It's kind of cleaner,
Yeah, as bad as it may sound, it's come a long way, and every year it does get better. And I think a lot of people just take into factor the things that are mechanically wrong with the game and try to say that it's not going anywhere.
Right.
Nah, yeah, and at some point you just got to figure out how can I make this meaningful for me if you're gonna choose to be here. How do I make it meaningful? Or on the flip end, if what everybody say is true, and everybody's like, oh my God, it's going to be the last season. The game won't get to where it got to go to. We need to all go do something else. Well, you only got a few options. You either can leave now and go do something else and stop talking about it and unfollow all Gears of War people and move on with your life. Or you're gonna make the best of it these next few events, and you're gonna turn up. All right.
Yeah.
And you're gonna, like, granted, people say that, well, okay, Gears only has so many eyes watching. Well, I would say, at least at the majors, I want to see my pro players like make use of that camera. Anytime you say that, hey, I want to go do that interview on the stage. You know what I'm saying? I want these people to be able to look at me. I want to create these moments in Mexico and Texas and wherever our last major is gonna be, so that even when we got a few thousand people watching on the major broadcast, use that opportunity to grab some new fans, right? Don't go up there and say, oh yeah, good luck to them. I don't got nothing bad to say. Well, you ain't gotta have nothing bad to say, but in a way of making it interesting, for people to say, hey, you know what? I like this guy. He showed me some of his personality, and I want to know more about him. I want to follow him, or I want to follow this esport just so I can watch him.
Right. I'm super excited to try and cash in on the Latin American community, because I struggle reaching out and working with that community, obviously just because I don't create YouTube content. And when I stream, they're not really interested in listening to me stream in English, but I speak Spanish pretty well. And then, like, when we're in Mexico and my teammates refuse to do interviews, I will definitely be up there, do a bit in English, and then expect me to, finish it in a little bit of Spanish and talk to that community.
Hey,
Try
you
and
can you
get
speak
their voices
Spanish?
behind us. Yeah.
Oh man, we're gonna make sure we get you on that main stage. CrazyTrain about to next thing you know, CrazyTrain about to be the biggest content creator after you come back from Mexico.
I'm trying to win the hearts of that crowd, and then my boys with a lot of energy behind them. Oh boy. Watch out.
There you go. And you got to speak for him, but like, hey, yo, Mexico, TJ says he loves you guys out there. Noe, yo, come take a picture with Noe afterwards. He can't talk to y'all, but he whatever. However you got to do it. Just gas your teammates up. But I got to, Noxious and sent me a question from chat, and somebody asked us earlier. They said, which pro do you think is the best when it comes to branding and creating content? Domes doesn't count anymore because he isn't a professional. So,
really
what?
Go first.
I don't know if he's still doing it heavy, but I'm not gonna lie, Vexies was grinding content.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Vexies is definitely Vexies is definitely I think maybe actually at the top of that list. After Vexies, I'm seeing Drix. I enjoy watching Sneaky streams when he play, and Sniper Gang over there.
I miss Summons doing content, bro. I feel like I haven't seen Summons.
Has he slowed down a bit? And especially with them, granted that team, me looking at that team from the outside in, I haven't, I haven't talked to him, in a lot since post last event. But you go from being at the top of the top, you got this great org, and then the game drops. And we see so much content out of them, but even Mental say that they still had 3 maps in which they were so at going into the first event. The org's not there; those checks every month ain't there no more. You got top 8 at the previous event. I hope they stewarding over their money from Gears 4 the best way that they possibly can. But when you are living that lifestyle and you at the top and down, you go through this kind of downward. Not spiral, but you just kind of go downward a bit. They got to pick themselves back up, and I hope that over these next few weeks that they all start enjoying it a little bit more and they start putting that practice in and they start really getting ready for Mexico, because they still have so many fans out there. They've been a part of Optic. They've been a part of NRG. They've been a part of Tox, and all those communities were, introduced to them, even if they don't got the banners no more. Those players still got the love, right? And those 5 players is like some of our greatest faces in Gears history. And I want to, especially when Mexico come, I just want to be able to see them say, hey, you know what? Times have been so, but there's still opportunity around me. There's still plenty of opportunity around me. There's still plenty of players who fuck with me that might not fuck with anybody else, but still fuck with me. And I want to see them find a way to modernize that and make money and also, but give back, not worrying so much about making the money, but more so giving back to the people who support them, and in turn they will get them. They will get that love.
So many good things come out of when you focus on your personal brand, by growing it, by streaming, putting out content. So many good things happen, like growing the scene, making money, growing your own fan base, that whatever your motivation is, it sort of feels like growing your personal brand's the panacea for it.
Man, so I saw people in the chat name 2 players. One, Praise is one of the funniest people I know and one of the most entertaining Gears players, and I think he embodies Gears. And just if Praise was more comfortable in being his personality at all times and being Praise Z, right? Not a roadie. A roadie. See, this is the thing when it comes down to players is that I will say personally, Blaze and Guy are 2 different people. Okay, just based off the 2 different worlds, and I feel like I could be super energetic and say some wild shit, being Blaze and being in gaming that I may not be able to do out in the outside world, right? It's just 2 different vibes, and I would love to see Praise be more praised and just even if he just do a 1v1 series and play 1v1 against everybody who wants to, right? Whoever want to challenge him, and he gets practice that way and just interacting, he will grow tremendously. Your season 1 and season 2 MVPs, of course, them as well. Fran being able to, who's bilingual and who's been exposed to every single Gears title and who is loved by the LATAM community. I would, love a Fran series where he's just teaching strategy and just breaking shit down, watching gameplay and just breaking shit down in Spanish and English and saying, this is what you got to do if you want to beat us. If you're not doing this, you messing up already.
I got a content idea. Just came to my mind, bro. If you're a really, really talented Gears of War player, I propose this.
Okay.
What you do is you charge people $10 to play you in a singles match.
Ooh.
But if they beat you, they get $100.
Ooh.
So you charge people and you play, and if you think you're gonna win 11 matches and lose the last one, they get $100, you get $10, like whatever. But if you think you're gonna win over and over and over, like I think that would make super awesome content.
Yeah.
Like that idea just came into my mind. So if anyone's talented enough to or has the nuts for that, I think that would be really, really cool.
Hey, you know what? And the one thing you're onto something good too as well, because if you are that talented, let's say it wasn't 100, let's say it was a $50 payout. You pay 10 to win 50, right?
Yeah.
People just want to play pro players to see if they even at the skill level. Even if they can just beat them, can they get their confidence up? I'm like, I just want to play Praise to play them. Hey, PayPal me $10. Let's go.
Yeah.
And
also,
then
or just the clout of playing on their stream.
Yeah, right. and that too as well, and seeing how well can you do against that top player. You might even take that clip and show your boys, like, hey, look what I did. Maybe even inspire you to play more. Like, oh, I can compete at this level. If you think you can, by all means, go for it. But I agree, that would be good, entertaining content. I'll watch it. I'll watch to see if somebody can win 7 rounds off somebody, or even 5 rounds, right? You can do $2 a round. You can do a 1st to 5 if you want to. If you want to just get people in all day, hey, however quickly you can push people out and get people in, that's money to be made, and people will pay that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun. I would do it myself, but I would lose a lot of money.
All right,
I get everyone in the pro scene ganging up on me.
Oh man, so chat. So now if you guys got questions that we may have missed earlier, put them in the chat. I'll read them off. We'll talk about them. We'll answer them. We'll answer the questions. So now I'm looking on my list. FaZe, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to talk about? Because if not, then I'm gonna start talking about Hive with CrazyTrain.
Oh boy.
Yeah, actually, there's just one thing I want to include. For anybody who is playing competitive, if you feel that like it just isn't working out, or it's just trust the process. If you feel like it's not going to take care of you in the long run, don't be afraid to branch out and try something new, do something else that may have your interest or something you enjoy. Mental health is, don't let anything like that, do something else, do it. If you want to grind, do it. If you're not afraid, or if you think you need to get out and do something else, maybe go to school or get a different job and do it, photography, etc. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so and just to reiterate what he said, because his mic was kind of cutting out here and there. He's saying that, hey, if you guys gonna go grind, be happy, knock it out. But if you guys are not having fun, hey, take a step back. Do something else. Go play a different game. Take a break for a few weeks. Step away from it and reevaluate it. It's okay to go back and reevaluate something you've been doing for a long time, even if it's just playing Gears. Always, you can go back and you can reevaluate. Okay, is this what I want to do? What's my purpose? Every day I get on, am I trying to rank up? Am I working on my shotgun? Am I having fun? Am I on to scrim? Whatever it is,
Are you seeing progress?
Yep, exactly. Are you seeing progress? Are you having fun? Ask yourself those 2 questions. And if it's no and no, maybe you need to take a break and go do something else. And because that's super important. I agree with that. Wicked says, do I think Endgame will bounce back? I think this is the week if they do. I think this is the week that they bounce back. They lost to Rec in the last UMG Emergence Day. They beat Rise. I heard that was a great game, but they're playing Rise again this week. And I think that if they do not beat Rise this week, that they're going to lose a little bit of steam into Mexico. If they do beat Rise this week, I think they're on an uphill climb to kind of have a last minute shootout against Reciprocity for that last spot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what happens if they don't? Because if you look at sort of like not the ecosystem, but sort of like the food chain right now in Gears, like you see, if they lose, teams have improved and changed a lot since San Diego. But if you were to just look at performance and results in Pro League and San Diego, you'd say like, oh, Energy lost to Rise, like Hive beat Rise, like you do all this math together, like Energy ends up towards the bottom if they lose. And I think that they're making a lot of improvements and didn't play to their full potential in San Diego and are a very talented team. But that mental block can definitely be thrown down very quickly.
Agreed. And that's why I said if they lost to Rise, then going into that last week, it's going to be like, whatever. Unless, granted, it's still going to be good progress against Rec. And I'm pretty sure they're going to play Rec, and they're not going to want Rec to go undefeated, right? I think
with Ashes behind them and the fire that you've seen all these guys play with, and how they've been at the top so long, I think that hunger is going to be there. I don't believe I will ever see the day of that end game roster playing whatever. But we'll see. It's all up to just performance now. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I hope you're right, because I definitely want to see them come out and light that stage up. Because now Reciprocity is the best team in the game. Best Gears 5 team out there, without a doubt. They are the kings of the hill, the kings of the castle. They sit up there and they say, hey, if y'all want to come take our crown, come do it. But you're going to have to do it in Mexico. All right? They've won there before, and they're going to have to take it from them there. So Rec, they got to be good stewards of holding the crown, right? And they're going to have to take on all challenges, and they're going to have to, show a lot of grace and composure up there while everybody else challenges them. Now, on the flip end, in-game, they got to, they're going to come out, everybody, not just them, Astral, Fire Knights, Pittsburgh Knights, Mazer, Hive, everybody, Rise, coming for their neck. Now, and everybody wants to hold a trophy up in Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
If it's any Gears event you want to do it in front of that crowd. You want that experience. Everybody should be going 110% for that. So I hope that and I believe going into that event, especially, that they will not take it for granted, because if they are about their money, which I know that they are, they're going to go into that event and say, okay, this is where we put on a show and remind people who the fuck we are.
Yeah.
And we going to get that check, and we're going to hoist that trophy. And we're going to have somebody knocking on our door giving us that contract.
The way that prize pool breaks down, 80, 40, 20, you lose in semifinals, that's potentially a $60,000 loss. That's insane. You played for 45 minutes and lost $60,000.
Yeah, that's the money. Okay, I love when you put it in that perspective, because that's what it is. That's the perspective that they need to have.
That's what it is.
100%.
It doubles, halves every time you lose closer to the first place.
And so and I think we're gonna see some of our best Gears that we haven't seen in a while at that event, because the last one was fun.
I agree.
And some good changes happening. I can't wait to Operation 3 come out, because that's supposedly when we will get our new game mode. That's when we will see some of these other movement changes when it comes down to momentum and pace of the game and all of that. So with everything that everybody's saying, Texas is looking real nice. But Mexico is the closest event, and we're playing a game in which we're playing now, and that's what we should be, and that's what's most important. And so I hope they go knock that out. All right. Hell, did we man, that was good. So now coming up next, I just want
FaZe, I got a question for you, my dude.
What's going on?
Do you know how many DMs I get a week looking for free agent coaches? People looking. Do you know how many a week? I there's money involved in some of these conversations, my man. Please tell me I can hit the forward button and go @FaZe.
I mean,
think about it. Think about it.
Sounds like a good opportunity, but you know.
To be honest,
Take
it
care
really
of what you
depends.
gotta. But I'm letting you know
It
that
depends. The
if you
main
didn't know,
reason
that's
why I
there.
stepped out is because of the whole roster mania. The last team that I was with ended up dropping a player without even consulting me about it. So that was a
You
big
talking
issue for
Lux?
me.
And speak on
Yeah.
that, and speak on that roster, and, you know, speak on roster changes and stuff like that as well.
It's just a big thing, you know, and it's a proven fact that, like, you know, if you stick together through the hard times and figure out what the issue is and improve on it, you're destined for success, you know. Um, it, that thing, just like, I don't know, going through that and getting on each night and wondering like, oh, are we gonna play with someone else, or are we gonna do that? It's just a
That
headache,
does
and you
suck.
feel
That feeling of feeling like, okay, I'm putting in all this time, but tomorrow I can be dropped, sucks, right?
And that's
Exactly.
where toxicity comes from as well, because you're scared about your
Ex-
spot. You want to take everyone
Mhm.
else down.
and
You
and
don't
the
want to
thing is
lift
with a
anyone
lot of
up
these
because then they'll take your
teams,
spot.
the thing is with a lot of these players is each player on the team thinks that they're the best on the team.
Mm.
And that's a huge issue with a lot of these AM teams and a lot of these, you know, teams that are actually becoming pros. Like, a lot of them just think they're the best, and it's a point finger game, and you can't do that. And the big issue for me is, like, you know, I'm a little bit older than the Gears crowd. Don't get me wrong, I'm a little bit
Mhm.
older. So, you know, I'm coming home from an 8-hour to 12-hour day job, and then sitting in front of my monitor for another 8 hours, to listen to people yell and insult each other, and then find out that one of them may not be coming back. You know.
Mm.
And that's a risk, you know, because I could be out doing other things, you know, at the end of the day.
How do
You know,
you
I could be out
avoid
playing
that at the
tennis.
amateur level? Because I know, like, even back in the day when, you know, I was finding teams that was something that's difficult. Like, finding good players was, first off, you got to find somebody who is on the same mindset as you, and that's very hard, who wants it just as much as you do. But even when you get to that point, it's not like, you know, orgs are, you know, structuring the roster changes, but even so much orgs really sometimes don't even have much of a say in some roster changes. I feel like now more so they kind of do than what they had in previous times. They were letting the players make all those decisions on who do you want to play with, who you don't want to play with, because they trust their judgment and input. But yeah, man, like, when at the amateur level, you know, you play a bunch of weeks on one team and they want to get rid of you one day, they can. And then it's a 5v5 game. It's hard to find 4 good people at that same level.
And I'm speaking to this just because of my extensive experience and time spent in the amateur community. People they see someone who's really, really talented, and you're like, yo, I want them on my team. And that's natural, but that's not the way to build a team. I don't know if
Nope.
anyone remembers this. Over the summer, we were in the off season. I was making content called Car Talk with CrazyTrain. And it was literally, I was lifeguarding. So I was just
I remember that. I watched
and I
those.
was sitting still, bro, all day. So I was thinking, and then I would get in my car and I'd just literally turn on the video and then just talk in the driver's seat of my car driving home.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing I talked about is that when you build teams, the way you build successful teams has nothing to do with skill. I 100% believe that.
I'm with
people that are going to get better together.
I'm with
Right?
you know what, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that because when you think about, like, granted, it is some very skillful players out there that are super impressive that can be taught how to be better teammates, right? But
I think it's easier to teach skill than it is to teach how to be a good teammate, though.
Correct. I agree wholeheartedly with that one. Even if you team up with 3 people, right? Just to keep the roster spot. You get 3 people who's like, yeah, I know these my other 2 boys. We on the same page. This is the core 3. Let's go find 2 slayers, or let's even get a core 4 and go find one other goon out there and put him in the mix. That's still a better combo than anything else. And you can't jump the gun all the time and go find a team of 4. Sometimes you just got to say, like, okay, let me form a team. Let me be the guy to form a team. And usually, I would say probably 80% of the time, you at least got one guy that you know that you definitely want, right? And then he gonna have a guy. Now you got a core 3.
Right.
So you gotta have a good mindset too. A lot of people, like I said, they blame people, but you gotta think about it like, what could I have done better to help the situation?
You gotta be ready to eat dirt, bro. You gotta. It's not easy, bro. Everyone thinks it's so much easier than it is. They look at Gears, the community's small, and so it gives you this illusion of like, oh, I know all these players, I know these top tier players, and it makes it feel really, really connected to the community. And you know everyone, which is awesome. And one of my favorite parts about the community. But it is very, very, very hard to play this game at a really high level. And I think there's a little bit of illusion onto how easy it is. And when it doesn't happen right away, they get angry and think, oh, someone on the team is underperforming. No, Your entire team is underperforming because you don't have that time in yet. Be patient and it will come. People are thinking it's happening faster than it should, and it's creating this like disillusion.
Yeah, it's so difficult. Like it is difficult to be able to understand the timings at that high level, being able to be that consistent at a high level, because at that level you pretty much come out the spawn the same way. Like you mess up coming out of spawn, that could be the round. You know, like depending on what your role is, if you got a flash roll, or you got a front spawn, or you have to get to a certain point and you might misroll out of spawn, that extra second could screw you against a team like Rec or in game for the round, for the bread.
If we're rolling out a spawn and someone goes, "Yo, I'm gonna be late," we call off the strat we're running. We literally then just play to contain.
Mm-hmm.
We can't play to an objective instantaneously. When someone says, "I'm gonna be late," everyone stops, because if we continue forward, assuming he's gonna play the same, it's costing 2-3 lives.
But I give you, if you got players to say, I give you props for players saying that, because some players don't say they're gonna be late. Some players just go. They don't know if they're gonna be late because they don't understand it at that level. They just say, "I'm gonna be there."
When you've taken that route, 100 times, you know when you're late, and it's your responsibility to your players to tell you.
Because you literally do take it like 100. Like when it comes down to a rep level, on a weekly basis, you might take that route 100 times, and it's up to you.
Easily 100 times. Because you think about when you play a map. Okay, let's say you play 9 rounds. At the minimum, you just did that 9 times, and then also like every time you respawn. Like you run that route a lot,
so
you know it's your job to tell.
Nah, yeah, gear like that type of consistency, because even once you do that a few times, like then players need to have the know-how to say, okay, how can I make this route better? How can I get my smoke off 2 seconds earlier to make an influence? Is there a cheeky way in which I can throw this to help my front spawn and then still be able to cover my lane? Right. I think that's another concept of people not really getting that. It's 3 lanes on every single map, pretty much. And each of those 3 lanes are being, one lane is probably being filled by a home hill player, the next by a flex, and you got your core 3 elsewhere, using a map like District, for example, where you're going to need a presence at the top, in the middle, and down low. If you don't have a presence in one of those areas, then you guys might get screwed unless you are really stacking for an objective where it's a big power weapon in a location where you can get a power weapon in neutral hill. If you can get that, then yeah, go stack 4 people, get the 2-to-1 and get the power weapon and reset. Cool, that's a great strategy, but a lot of people don't get that at that level. And I will even say sometimes for me, I got to do a better job at explaining that, to the fans at home. And I always don't have a problem always reiterating, what's happening, because you never know when that new viewer is watching. And we're always trying to educate people. Okay. All right. CrazyTrain. Now, Hive, North American Division Bravo. This probably be our last topic until unless I see any other interesting questions out there. Noxious is in the chat looking for them, but hey, you guys are fucking killing it. You guys are 6-0. All right, y'all come off top 3, top 4 finish, and your boys just look unstoppable. If it was any time that you guys were gonna lose, it was against big Brohog's team of No Mercy last week, when you guys had 2 subs, yourself and Fnatic, versus a team with 1 sub, and still, you guys, you clutch up and you get it done. What the hell happened with y'all? What y'all doing so right? What's been the big change from last fall quarter to now?
It's the boys came out really ready to play. We taking it seriously. It come off a lot of momentum, and I think one of the biggest things I want to stress about this Hive roster, and everyone loves to attach on the fact that, oh, these guys are young guns. They're talented, up and coming. But what people aren't associating with the up and coming is we're still learning and we're still growing. We're evolving every day. Right? These guys are still coming into their final form. I would argue that a lot of these veteran teams aren't doing a lot of evolving. The players have their play style defined. They know who they are. They have their identity. I would argue Hive doesn't have our identity yet, and we're still evolving and growing. And you're watching that happen, going from top 12 Boston, big break, slight roster change, like 1 or 2 people, and then adding me in, and then top 4, and then running NA Bravo. Like, you're watching it happen. You're just not understanding it.
And yeah, and that growth is there. What I want you guys to understand is that this is y'all league. This is Hive league to take. Especially like we get another season, whatever it may be. Like when it comes down to this roster, because if other players want to leave and quit, then Hive will be there and they can hold the top. right? They can get the first place checks if they want to. With you guys, kind of being that young roster, especially, because I know, with you guys being that young roster with players like Noe and TJ over these next few years, if that roster is really making content and, reaching out there and grabbing those people, as this progresses, y'all just going to keep growing, especially if y'all start now, especially doing what y'all do now. It's just uphill. Even if it's a slow
100%.
uphill climb, uphill is uphill. Even if you take one step, it's about being better today than you was yesterday.
100%, I agree with that. And it's a really interesting dynamic because it feels like we have a lot of pressure on us, but also at the same time, there's less pressure. Like it grows in lessons. It grows because we've shown we can perform at a high level. So then you're sort of expected to do that, right? Like you get an A in a class one time, then you're expected, you can get A's all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so us playing at that high level, then you suddenly expect us to play at this high level all the time. And I think we're capable of that. But then also it's a huge focus on the fact that we're still growing and evolving. And we're still, progressing and making changes and growing and learning as a roster that it's much more dynamic than most people understand.
And to play at that high level consistently can get taxing. It's one thing if you're having fun and don't feel like you're putting in that much work, but if it's some challenges on other ends to be able to get on and consistently do that 4 or 5 days a week and do your pro league match. It's definitely a grind and it takes work to get there, and your roster has definitely shown that work. And the players, you could see the confidence building up in them, and they starting to feel like they can do it. It's one thing of you playing at that level, but it's another thing playing at that level and saying, hey, we can win, we can go get this trophy, we can actually go out there and do this, and having that faith in your roster.
We as soon as we had taken the first map off of Ghost, or currently PK, we had in our minds been prepared to go in a grand finals and go the distance. We obviously, no team in Gears of War has beaten us except for Astral on LAN. No one. We lost to Astral once in pool play and once in semifinals. No one else has proven they can beat us. And we've played teams like Rise,
in Gears 5,
Ghost,
right?
EU's finest.
Well, so yeah, in Gears 5 LAN, nobody has beat you guys but Astral. That's good to know.
No. And coming back into Pro League now? Like
no, yeah, right, y'all have it, right?
We lost to Mazer once in Pro League, and now we haven't yet. We've only lost to Mazer online once, and have beaten them twice since.
I'm not even gonna call that stat. I'm just gonna say
Astral.
I'm just gonna say that
online twice, and that's my fault losing to Astral. We were not prepared for the way that team played. We weren't able to see their play style a lot. We never scrimmed against them. That's entirely my fault. My boys are undefeated. I failed them as a coach. So there's a lot of confidence there.
Ooh. Look at I love when a coach say, "Nah, they." Oh man, I love when players and coaches they all take responsibility and they're open with it. Say that was on me, you guys, and I failed. And I failed.
How do you explain losing to that team twice? We had played different maps against them. We adjusted that and still lost, and that's because we weren't prepared. We tried to on the fly adjust, and I know they had spent almost, I think, like a month or so was the rumor of boot camping before that event. They played
Astral.
Yeah. They boot camped for a long time, and our roster met each other or met me and like Thursday, right? And so because we weren't prepared, we didn't have that chemistry or have that identity to be able to adjust to things on the fly like Astral, because we hadn't been able to scrim them. We didn't really know what to expect. So that's my fault. My job is to prepare the roster. Everyone else we played, we were ready for, and it showed.
Yeah,
we 5-1. We 5-1 Ghost on map 3. Your third map, that's like the go-to. You want to be confident on that. We 5-1 them. And I was going to the interview. I was like, did we 5-0, 5-1 them? I didn't know. It didn't matter. We dominated them on that third map.
Woo.
And it's because we were prepared for that. And we had that depth in map pool, which again is one of our biggest strengths.
I was just about to, I've noticed that like me and PR, we got all the picks and bans. We keep track of that because we try to bring as much depth to the pro league as we can. And so I'm up here looking at the picks and bans, and I caught.
Can I get those notes?
Yeah, I caught maybe we'll talk about it. You slide in my DMs, I give you my PayPal. But anywho, I was looking at them and I was like, okay, this is gonna be this team's always auto ban. They're gonna always auto ban that. Okay, I'm seeing what maps they're kind of afraid of, and I see Hive and it's so unorthodox. And I'm like, hold up, these guys are banning to who they're playing.
Remember and not NASCAR and the entire desk lost their shit.
Bro, they are banning to who they are playing and not so much having an auto ban. And then from that point on, I was like, I think they got the deepest map pool, and you just confirmed it for me. But you didn't even have to because it showed with y'all record and being 6-0. And so yo, chat, and we all heard it, and we all are on the same page that Hive has only lost to a straw since the end of the fall quarter. Nobody has beaten Hive. I don't know what you guys are doing in emergence days, but in the Gears Pro League,
emergence days, we've been rough.
Okay, but in the Gears Pro
oftentimes,
League,
there's a lot of fooling.
Yeah, emergence days they're good. Don't get me wrong, but in the Gears Pro League,
Yes,
y'all have not lost to nobody but a straw post the end of the fall quarter.
And we're ready. We're ready now.
And that's the same thing. Like I've seen Rec lose to a bunch of people in emergence days, but in Pro League, it's a different story. So. Yeah. And that stands true to you guys as well. So, all right. And Rec has also not lost to nobody since the fall quarter at all. Rec is undefeated since then.
I was texting Joe. I was like, bro, we gotta cross over, man, for the culture. Bravo undefeated, Alpha undefeated, one on top, man. We can't let two undefeated North American teams go.
Man, if only we had cross division, I would love a High versus Reg matchup.
No result, no repercussion for the culture, for the content. Go across, like when you play like first versus first, second versus second, third versus third, fourth versus fourth, right?
Mm-hmm.
A little something like that.
Yeah, hey, yo, that'd be sick. So by being in the league, we heard some players talk about, cross divisional play and doing all this other stuff. For the last topic on the stream, because we lost FaZe, but much love to him.
It's awesome to see him come out. I haven't seen him since, and it was cool because he came up with Lux and I came up with Hydra at the same time. So I had coached the Lux roster, then they had dropped me. Like I got dropped by everybody, man, and like. It was cool to see him come up, and so it's awesome to see how he's doing now. And I was telling him, I was like, bro, I want you back. There are people who want you back, so hopefully we'll see him again. Yeah,
hopefully we will see him again. And you know how that Gears bug works, right? You think you got rid of it, but you got some eggs laid in you. When a game get fun, you just pick it up, and it just it's like a little spark in you. You just start spreading like wildfire when you start having fun. You're like, oh my god, I gotta get my shotty better. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. So, hopefully hopefully the game gets to a point where he can get bit by that bug again, because we've seen players leave, set the world on fire and come back, still. So, right. I know it definitely can happen, and yeah. So, but what I was gonna ask you was that. What would be, your opinion and your idea on cross-divisional play, and if it should happen? You got any opinions on how to make that better? Is our last topic?
Cross-divisional play. I personally actually don't. I know like the way they've seeded. I don't understand the seeding, honestly, on how the pools are done very well. I think I really wish that. I feel like us getting top 4 in San Diego didn't really affect our seeding in the groups. It didn't feel like it, at least. I'm not sure if that's the actual case. I haven't gone super in depth. I've just been like, okay, this is Bravo. This is what I have to play with. I'm not concerned about what could have been, because this is what is, and that's my job. But we got top 4. People expect us to lose to Rise.
Yeah.
Beating Rise. We weren't supposed to get top 16, right?
Yeah, no, y'all wasn't. Rise had some gas.
Won Rise, and then we'll beat PK. Where's the love, right? I just feel like it wasn't reflected in I don't understand. I don't think the seedings are weighted properly.
I hear what you're saying. It definitely can be another layer added to that. And maybe that layer is that I think San Diego should have affected the teams and how they got seeded in Alpha and Bravo based off their San Diego performance. Whatever their San Diego placing was, it should have been how they got seeded. So if we were to do that, then
I want to see less of a separation between Pro League and LAN, because in Pro League doesn't affect your LAN seedings. You go through Swiss stages, and then that seeds you into your champ bracket, right? The Pro League is just for money, for fun on the side, and that makes it really easy to go, oh, whatever. It's just like, whatever, I don't need money. I'm already making salary, cool stuff. But if that affected your placements on LAN and things like that, I think it's a disservice to storylines and to just the wholeness of the Gears esports scene, having those two separated.
No, I agree with you. They definitely should be more combined, because maybe you do it based off you take the international regions are different because they only have one division. So they're
Right,
most
but
likely going to get their same 3 teams in there, and it'll be the same for them. But
they
when it
sh-
comes down to North American Alpha and Bravo, based off your placings of that event, and you just take them in order. So, for example, the last event, it went of the order of Rec, Maze, it went Rec, Hive, Mazer, then it went Rise, no, then it went NRG, then it went Rise. Rise was top 16 there, but but if you do it that way, then maybe you get Hive and Mazer in a different side,
Well,
and you split them up.
my proposal is that you play your 6 or maybe 5, whatever it is, to get your seedings first, second, third, fourth in Alpha and Bravo, and then you do the crossover. The first 2 people, the number 1 place in Alpha and number 1 place in Bravo, play each other, and the loser of that gets second, the winner of that gets third. And then the second tier, the second place in each people play for third and fourth. So that way, if you're second in your division, you do not get a top 2 seed.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that would make I think that would be the format that should be used. That's used.
A top 2 seed for the next major.
Yeah,
Okay.
for the next major, or at least some points, some involvement, some characteristic between the two. Getting that cross match play, saying you're the best in Alpha, you're the best in Bravo. Okay, now combine and see who's really the best. I think that puts a lot on the line. I think it's more intuitive, and like to sort of make a weird transition. I play Ultimate Frisbee for Ohio State. That's how most of the tournaments we play in go. So if you don't win your pool, you don't get to play in the finals. And it means every match matters. And they've done that sort of with single elimination, but like you can ramp that up.
Yeah.
You still go.
And any time you can make the stakes that high is going to create a dope experience for the fans. And we see how single elimination did that. Rather if it's a lot of money or, the way the tournament's set up or a little bit of combination of both, that fans enjoyed it, and it was fun to watch, and it was a different vibe, and we got our mini map too for the first time, which was super dope,
which was sick. Yeah,
that was,
you guys are super excited.
Yeah,
about
mini
that.
map was game changing.
Rewatching the VOD, like that was cool. I
don't know if we got any newer spectator changes coming in. We had a whole I know for a fact I had a whole list of stuff that I definitely wanted for it, so hopefully I get some new features going into Mexico. If not, I get everything else that was,
what could they add? What do you think they're missing? The one biggest thing. Okay, I'm sorry, I asked this. I think Vora said this. I'm gonna shout out Vora because I think he said it first.
The
I don't
trail,
know if it's the
Nade trail.
It's not me. Nade trail. Yeah, it's not me.
Nade trail
or some
be
other
so
coach
key.
Or someone, maybe you, someone out there.
It was Vora. It was Vora that said it because I read the tweet.
Yeah, huge shout out Vora, bro. You watch too much CS:GO, but I love it. That would be awesome.
Because come on, guys, we've spent so much time complaining about flashes and smokes because of how much of an impact that they make, and the audience does not get to see them sometimes. Like even the cool up A flashes that players throw to cut off their opponent in front of them, pretty much the spawn in which they got to play, are so key. The way that like the front spawn smoke that Rushies has to throw for himself on District, because I'm pretty sure he does. He probably throws that coming out of spawn somewhere for it to land in an exact right place, and I think people need to see that to understand.
Like that's also another statistic you could track. Is I think like I'm gonna touch on Tidy right here. Tidy throws freaking amazing stuns, and like if you could track off the initial, what percentage of the time do you throw your stun correctly? That's an entire genre of statistic that doesn't exist in Gears of War. Is the efficiency of your utility grenade.
Well, so the stat ain't there, but just know that I'm all like at the top level. I'm always looking at it because I think that's one of the most important pieces that's there.
Yeah, 100%.
But you are right. You are absolutely right, and that is a whole nother level to it. But Dana mentioned something on the stream the other day. I don't know if he meant to, but somebody said something about adjusting the flashes, and then he made a comment that they need to make a decision on if they want it to be pickup or not. If they want to just make flashes pick up.
So only smokes?
Maybe.
That would get interesting.
Making flashes pick up.
I think we don't use smokes enough. But granted, like you talked about
but you can't though, right? You can't use smoke because your back 2 spawns are definitely going flashes. The way that the weapon tree works on a shock, you're going to put 2 more flashes on the map. Now, if you go incinerate grenade, cool. It's a smoke on the map, but you can never rotate that smoke to be put in an influential spot right away.
And I just think I love smokes, like cutting off someone's sight line and then being able to wreak havoc and that person feeling useless. Like when you make one person in a 5v5 useless, like then all the numbers game happens. Like I think that's awesome. And
I miss using
don't-
smokes in execution just to cover our rotations.
or even
Like,
to bait people into thinking you're rotating and they can't see and they have to go
Yep.
sound and stuff. Like that's cool. That's really cool.
it's so much more for a tactical game, and the fans love it. Even the new fans in which Rainbow made this past week.
Rainbow blew up. Shout out Belly.
Yo, much shout out to Veli. And Rainbow blew up, bro. Like, watching their last major and seeing, I'm pretty sure they had a lot of new people who watched it for the first time and said, okay, let's go check out the finals. And just, they had a great series. And then how much tension are in each of those rounds and how slow it is. And it just keeps the fans engaged. It's not too much chaos. They are there and they want to watch, listen to the casters. They're able to break it down because it's a lot of, like, back in execution versus escalation when I casted the two of them on stalemates and stuff were great teaching moments. Like I was able to go super in depth as the game was slowed down and talk about each player's role before the action even popped off, and the fans were able to follow more. Versus, a lot of stuff happens. I see some sick stuff. Like, I may see 5-6 things that happen, but I gotta only talk about one of them.
Yeah.
Because weapon selection is coming up, the next round's coming up, a lot of stuff is coming up that we got to touch bases on.
Yeah, and I think what's really interesting is like the objectives teams play for, because teams traditionally play for one of two objectives. They play for a map control, whether that be a hill or like a key position, or they play for a player to either reduce their life pool economy is terrible, or that player holds a key weapon, or they're in a spot that really anchors their team down, and like really identifying, saying, oh, let's say we're playing, Rise, and we have Drix and Info. Like if we get Drix out of Info, we run the middle of the map. Period.
Yep.
And so if we make a play, you go, oh, Drix is the play, and you recognize that ahead of time, and then you see us execute that, like smoke him out, isolate him so his teammates can't come to his aid, and then get that kill, and then we run the middle of the map, and then you see all the other things that happen from there. Like that's cool
it's so dope. And even like I remember sometimes like I had smokes, but I was like, all right, I really can't use it. But I'm like, you know what? If I got a smoke, I'm gonna throw it somewhere every single spot. And there's always somewhere my smoke could have went to make my team better. So even if I was just being annoying and I just wanted to smoke their cross every single round because I knew this guy was going to be there and I didn't want him to sit there. So I'm like, yo, you're going to have to play somewhere else at the start. You're going to have to just do something else. I'm going to just smoke this spot every round and just see what you do. And then one round,
I think an underrated, I'm going to throw out a little strat right here. Something I want to see tested more that I need to get to testing as well. My team sort of, they're gone right now, so we don't really get the chance to work on these things in the past weeks or so.
Okay, here we go. High strategy that we may see in the future.
From my mind, nothing we've actually implemented yet, but throwing a smoke instead of a stun at the middle fight in between Info and Juice on District, because if you cut off their Lancer fire, yes, that they're throwing a stun and you get stunned, but you have someone covering your back with a Lancer. They can get it down. And so if they don't chunk you immediately, which is hard to do, covering that distance on that middle cover, you run that middle spot.
I'm gonna help you.
After that fight is over, that smoke could still be there stopping him. Like that's an isolation right there.
Check this out.
I think that has potential.
I'm gonna help you out on even redefining that strat just a little bit more, or even making it or even bringing it to existence. The smoke, the cloud, how long it lasts may be better as well, because of the stun's going to be quick. You're going to flash them. You might even get a hit marker and still not flash him, if we're being honest, right? You may get the hit marker, think he's flashing, he's not. But that's like a 2 second thing. But that smoke sits. You will smoke out that whole level of the window. So you're right. You can't smoke the guy out at the juice, even if you send both spawns to get the smoke off the initial, or granted, you at least want one flash until you can give your front spawn his flash. But even after you give him the flash the next round, your back spawns can start with smokes for the first engagement and switch to the flashes for the next two, for the rest of the round, right? Yeah. But it's about them saying, okay, because a lot of players switch to the flash and they keep it there, but saying, hey, round one, we're going to use the first fight, I'm using my smoke, and as soon as I die, I'm bringing out the flash.
It's something to toy with, because I see a lot of wasted stuns, or stuns that are used incorrectly. And if you already, there's an argument, very loose argument, that you can't really use a smoke incorrectly. Like if you miss a stun off a little bit, right? Like, oh, he's not stunned at all. You've just wasted that utility. But if you throw a smoke and you miss by 2-3 feet, that's a big cloud. It might still get the job done, or it might cover other lanes. You can adapt to where that blind spot is.
I'm
I think
gonna
teams that
co-sign with
effectively
you.
use smokes, I think are going to. I think it's gonna be a meta. I see it coming in maybe after Mexico,
Hey, I
maybe
hope
during
you're right.
Mexico.
Hey, hopefully
I
some
see
people
a
do.
smoke meta in Gears future.
With the
Heard it here
smokes
first.
being changed from past gears to them instantly exploding when they hit the ground,
Yeah.
I do agree that it's very hard to throw a smoke incorrectly on this game unless you just blatantly miss, you know?
Right.
But if as long as you kind of get it generally in the right area, that you should be A-okay, unless it hits the roof. But other than that, you should be A-okay on
Yeah.
making it useful. But it just comes down to teams saying that, okay, let me try something new today. Let me try
Get
this.
creative, and that's
Yeah.
where that 8 hours a day isn't 8 hours of scrims.
But also, that's where I would say that, I feel like by having a faster game types, teams don't know how to be creative as they used to be. Like those openings aren't as easily seen because after the initial, it's pretty much who can react better.
Big
Right?
shout out, Jeff. Jeff has come up with some creative stuff that
Has
we're
he?
not showing, and it's not like overall strategies; it's little things. Like Jeff is on the chalkboard, man.
Hey, that's what I like
On
to
the
hear.
chalkboard.
I was on Jeff the last time he played about his 1v1s a few weeks ago, but
Yeah, he's on the
he
chalkboard.
was hitting those bows though. I'll tell you that. All right.
Oh, Jeff's
was-
different with the
Yeah,
dart.
nah, he really is though. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, Jeff is losing some 1v1s. Jeff's bow go down, Jeff get bow. I'm like, okay. Nobody's moving. Nobody's moving anymore. He didn't lock down his whole lane by himself.
If he were to lose, I don't know what the number of 1v1s is. I've noticed it sometimes, but the impact he has with bow greatly overshadows that.
Yeah. So, okay. So, guys, this is gonna be our last question because I know we're coming up around like this hour 30-minute mark, and
Yeah, however long you
know,
want to go.
yeah.
I got some G Fuel in the system.
Yo, right? Yeah. Nah, I wanna be able to. I wanna get some games in today. Before I get off. So yeah, I'm gonna maybe play some Gears or go play some Apex or something.
You want to run some King of the Hill or some Apex?
Hey, that might be a play. All
right.
But so, question for Blaze and CrazyTrain: would you be open to a brand new mode being introduced to Gears comp and esports scene? And then thoughts on PC esports scene for Gears? Why would they separate mouse and keyboard from controller players in events? So, I think so. First question is that would we like a brand new comp? Would we like a brand new mode being introduced to the comp and esports scene? For me, yes. Now, let me say that I do love the recent changes to escalation, but I still don't think that they embody fully the pressure and the strategy of a single life game mode. It just has to be single life. There's no in between.
I agree.
Even if it's a life bank, it's no in between. Yeah, it just has to be single life with some objective there, and that's it. However you do it, as long as it's single life, you get a different audience, you get a different group of people playing Gears, and you get a different experience. Respawn and single life are night and day, and that's just the simple fact is to it.
I think part of the reason that Siege has had a lot of success is nothing about, but you see a kill feed go down,
and you know how to even value.
This got real.
And you know how to value players right as well. You know how to value players the right way in a single life mode. And what I mean by that is that some players just shine differently in single life versus Respawn. Okay,
yes,
just based off who they are. Some players are just so smart where they don't have to be flashy, but they'll pick up a bunch of kills in a single life mode. And yeah, that's just a completely night and day experience. Now, escalation is this. Was designed to mesh King of the Hill and execution together, but I don't think we needed all of that. Granted, we had some good moments, but it didn't have to get that complicated. So the next one,
a job. Oh man,
it didn't gave me one too. Hey, I'm with you on that, room, right? But I still think that granted, as we are now, from all the years of which I've played Gears and I've seen this esport grow, I do think that if people made certain decisions at the right time and they consulted with certain people, that we could be far greater than where we are now. We could be light years in a different position than we are now.
Yeah,
if people just had different perceptions around other things and they were just communicated well or communicated better. I just think that we can be night and day, but let's not dwell in the past because too many of our community members sit in the past all the time and worry about the future too much rather than making the present the best it can be. And now the next one, the last question of today's show is
thoughts. Sorry, real quick, I just want to slide my thoughts in there. I was sort of agreeing with you. my thoughts on having that alternate game mode. I want to be really, really careful talking about single life Gears of War because I am 18 years old. I played Gears 4 like competitively, and that's my introduction to it. And I played UE as well. That's why I started getting involved in the competitive scene. But like, I don't know single life nearly as well as the majority of the competitive players as their age and their experience and their competitive background. But I do think it's a question of whether or not would that make a really, really cool tiebreaker? Yeah. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Escalation back. Okay, we're both playing chess. We're both doing our thing. All right, now who hits shots? Now who's ready for that next level of importance? It's all on the line.
So hey, check this out. I'm all with escalation coming down to 5 rounds too as well. If we get the single life mode, I'm all about having a 2 in there. I'm all about we don't have to completely get rid of it, but I'm down. Give us two single elimination game modes and put escalation in the middle of that, and so we can have our respawn. And I'm about it. That's just 2 different vibes. You know what I'm saying? But
That'd be really cool.
but I think that would be a real scoop. Like that'd be a real cool thing to showcase all Gears players because there are better Gears players at single elimination modes than they are at respawn, and they're not playing because it is respawn, and you get more people coming back to the game, and you get more people that's even just execution saying that, hey, you know what? I love the new mode because of single life. Let me go play esports, okay? Because I think I'm so good.
And it's a really easy transition as far as the viewing experience goes. Your job, kill the other dude. KDs matter now in single life elimination, right?
Yeah, yep.
That makes it a lot easier to not steal, but have a transition, or at least have people interested. Like Call of Duty, search and destroy, right? That's competitive Call of Duty. When I think competitive Call of Duty, they're playing domination right now. I think that's super.
Oh man, that's not COD. That's stupid. That's so stupid.
Yes, stupid. Hardpoint. Okay, yeah.
We even give that to COD.
You give that to COD. That's new. It's been a very integral part of their competitive scene for a long time. But search and destroy is the core of competitive COD.
Uplink was the next best third.
Yeah, and all sorts of things like that. And then, but you don't see COD dropping search and destroy. And there are certain players in COD who you could say, oh, they suck, but they're so good at.
But they're S&D.
It doesn't matter.
They call them S&D All Stars for a reason.
Yeah, like Atlanta FaZe, bro. Like anyone in Gears of War who's not super all caught up and nerdy into the COD scene like me, Atlanta FaZe is a team of search and destroy animals. And while they have a positive win percentage on the majority of their maps, they really, really struggle on domination, which is just a weird mode. And also, they're not amazing at hardpoint. They're very solid, but they're not amazing. But when it comes to search and destroy, they're ridiculously good, and it overshadows, other small issues and problems that individual players might have. And that dynamic isn't present in Gears. It's not. You can't say, oh, they're not, because we look at it like, oh, they're not good at this map. Oh, we're not good at that map. And that's the dynamic of a team. It's like, oh, are they good at this map and that map? No. And if every team did what Hive did and got good on every map, Gears would get pretty boring, I think.
Yeah, it's more. No, I feel what you're saying on having that dynamic between the two, but I think you could definitely do that in Gears because the execution community, like when they launch, like I would say, hold on, let me check.
I want to clarify. They should.
Yeah, I will say that the most alarming thing for me when the game dropped, that I was just like, what the fuck, was execution not having a playlist.
Yeah.
That was my biggest what the fuck moment when Gears 5 dropped. Not even the servers and anything else. It was and I'm still upset that Nick Merckx had to make a tweet for somebody to say that, you know what, let's put execution in the game. Like what?
You played a decade of execution. You played a decade of execution, right? Something around that. Maybe 8 years.
A lot.
And then you played like maybe 2.5, 3 years of escalation, and then you suddenly change competitive game. It's not in the game. You just killed a huge portion of your fan base and community.
And it also showed that it was an oversight. Well, not. And it just showed that somebody was just saying, "Oh, we don't care about it. It's the past, or it's dead in there." We're gonna do Guardian, but execution, no.
I feel like maybe there was a look at numbers, and I know they justified it by saying, or not justified it, but their explanation was it got low play percentages in Gears of War 4.
And we justified it by
to look at past the numbers, and that's if I were to say one thing to Gears of War developers, and I'm always very, very positive. That's my biggest pride of myself on social media and streams and everywhere. I'm a super positive person. I'm always bringing good energy. If I were to say one thing to the Gears of War developers, again, it's not going to be negative. It's going to be positive. It's me, right? Is that the culture of Gears of War needs to be more closely examined. The
Mm.
numbers are really important, and the economics behind it are really important. But economists also look at culture. That's a huge part. The culture of Gears of War needs to be more closely examined in order for this game to have a healthy growth process. If we only
Ooh.
grow off numbers, it's not gonna happen.
Yo, man, hey, you hit the nail on the head, crazy. That's what okay. Some people like what yo, check this out. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And I can
But
say that as someone who's 18 years old.
check,
I didn't grow up in this
now
game.
somebody
I didn't play Gears of
who is
War 1.
29 about to be 30, and I was here in 06. I always tell people the culture shifted in Gears 3. Okay? The culture got shifted in Gears 3 when those 30 sensitivities got added, and part of our game got wiped. And now the way that people are playing the game also too as well, like then you look at Gears 4 and the game being as fast as it was, and then you go on a 5v5, and
Right.
Granted, execution was kind of played 5v5 beforehand in other games, but Gears 4 was a different breed. All right, Gears 4 was a
100%.
different breed, and the game mode in the culture of it, it went a certain direction without a lot of influence, and players just kind of took it there because Gears was dead for a while, and Gears was only alive because of the esports community and the amount of time in which they was playing it.
Free burger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, free burger, lit boys, all of that, and so the Gears culture had changed around that time. And so that's why I take people's opinions with only so much weight, because I'm like, when did you get introduced to the game? When did you start playing it?
Of my background. That's why I said I'm hesitant to talk about single life game modes because that's not what I know. I'm a TC baby, so I look at a lot of people, and if I had to do two categories, it's you played Epic Gears, you played TC Gears, and I think that's again overlooked.
And
it's so hard to keep culture when you change the developer team.
And TC Gears took Gears away from a cover-based shooter into an arena-style shooter with the speed of the game and Gears 4 and stuff, with what they valued the engagements to look like. And it shows in how the game got developed. And it showed in what action looked like to you. What was exciting to you showed in how the game got tuned. Yeah. All right? And showed what type of Gears you were exposed to. And it's very evident in people's play styles and how they talk about it, and which Gears they talk about, in which they loved, and all this other stuff. And even games as a whole throughout, not even just Gears, throughout esports, becoming quicker and being catered to, a certain group. And
put it this way, execution was played to 5, right? I'm not tweaking on that one, right?
Correct.
Escalation just got shortened to 5. And still, like, the time and like the amount of time it's played is like questionable, and people have concerns about that.
Yeah. But I will say that the conversation got started today, and it happened on Twitter. Well, I kind of made a tweet about it, about PC Gears and the esports scene, and separated mouse and keyboard from controller players. Yeah. And my thing is, I think that the perfect play,
I know what you're gonna say,
is to make Gears Esports PC. Then at that point, you make it cross-platform. Now, at first, in my mind, I was like, man, what about Latin America? If you made it PC, just, Latin American players, a lot of them got Xboxes, and I don't think a lot of them got PCs just because, culture down there. I don't know if a lot of them got PCs there. But, with the new Xbox...
thinking about the culture.
Yeah, that's a big group of Gears right there, right? That's
the biggest, arguably.
That's the biggest, arguably, right? So saying just PC is a little bit too. But at LAN, if we had all PCs there, you make online cross-play. Hey, you can play with the Xbox PC. We see how even with Fortnite, somebody said, I think I saw it on Twitter, they said, hey, look at Fortnite. They allowed it to be cross-play, and a lot of people who played on consoles said, let me invest in getting PCs to get it to the next level. And I think that Gears is so unique when it comes down to a third-person cover shooter, that the controller is the best peripheral to use when it comes down to movement. And I think you can play on either or. I don't think one gives more of an advantage than the other based off how the game is played.
My only concern is scroll wheeling.
You can
and wall bouncing.
You should be able to block. I think you can code and be able to block some stuff like that.
That like, I agree with the majority of what you're saying, and I think how dominant a PC a mouse's accuracy is over a thumbstick accuracy is also concerning to me. Because again, if you have a back spawn or like a third spawn, he's on PC.
That's true.
You're
That's
gonna
true.
give him bull talk. He's gonna hit everyone in the head. His DPI is gonna be perfect. That's all.
True.
His only job is to
True.
get sniper, and you can give him bull talk. Like that's where concern comes in for me, is the difference in accuracy between mouse and keyboard. And I think controller's better for movement, but I don't think it's that much better.
But when it comes down to utilizing your nades, those opening engagements and how it's being played, I agree that the point and shoot, of course, mouse and keyboard, that's going to be an advantage versus sticks. I can tell you that as playing on both, that is 100%
And
an
if you look at like
advantage.
Fortnite, there's only been one controller player ever at a World Cup event, and he didn't place that well.
But nowadays, I think they got some controller goons now because PC players is upset. I see Excel is tweeting all the time about just aim assist on controller players.
Players are getting better. They have very, very shaky records on LAN, but as far as like online tournaments and like the cups and things, like they're some very talented controller players. But they play controller on PC.
But when it comes down to Gears engagements right now, it's just a lot of shoddy engagements. You're not seeing a lot of people playing it that tactically. Where when it comes down to Lancer and everything else, and okay, you got a guy on the back end with a Lancer beaming y'all up. Use your smokes, bring him out with that shotty, bring him out to a shotty fight. Use a flash and push him. Like I still think there's ways to get around that. Even just thinking of now of how Gears is being played. Okay, cool. I see some dope Lancers now of people who don't miss a shot. You still got the jerpies out there who are beaming everybody who don't miss a shot. I think it's very easy to hit shots on controller. With the Lancer.
My biggest concern, I guess, then, just as far as the very raw mechanics of the game, is frames. Playing on different amount of frames.
I think you need to lock that to whatever Xbox is, though. You lock that to what Xbox is.
Field of view also needs to be locked.
Correct.
And like, I don't.
But the uphill, but the top end of it is how much can we grow from doing that, right? How much can Gears grow from doing that, from creating a better player experience to creating a better visual experience?
Right.
Well, visual so much because we spectate on PCs, right? So you still see it from the PC point of view. But the players having a better experience will create for better action. And then you also get this other community as well who can break off to a different game and say, you know what, let me go try Gears out. I done took my shot at all these other esports. Let me go to Gears and see how do I like that. PC keyboard. So,
I think
and that's what it is. And it comes down to how do we grow? How do we get more people playing in the queue?
Yeah,
how do we get more people in the esport? Right? Like those are the big questions. How do we get more viewers?
I think TC needs to hire people whose job is nothing mechanical, nothing map designer, nothing updates, nothing social media, literally examining the culture of the game, looking at the numbers, looking at the trends in other esports, predicting where attention and media and growth is going, and then how do we take that towards Gears? Like we need a think tank of people who are examining that growth and anticipating it, because we've seen Gears be reactionary in Gears 5, especially with all the concerns we have. We're very reactionary, and then even then when we do react, I think being reactionary at any point is already too slow, but we do react very slowly.
But it comes
it's even more compounded.
But it comes down to the questions in which they want to tackle first. So from what I see is that it's all about, okay, how do we balance out the game more to make it a better player experience, right? But that technically doesn't make it a better viewing experience for the fan.
Very, very true.
Doesn't make it a better viewing experience. So like, being more heavily broadcast on the broadcast side than the player side over these last few years, I'm always asking, okay, people want the changes for the inside the game, and that's great. That definitely needs to happen. But I'm saying, who's asking the questions of like, how do we get more people to watch this? Yeah, cool. They having fun playing it. Like you can have a perfect game tomorrow and people have fun playing it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that people are gonna be at home and they're gonna watch it differently. If
you had as much fun watching it as you did playing it, we would have had like 3 million people or whatever the number of players was, watching.
No, I agree, and that's my biggest thing when it comes down to single life game modes, because people watch it, they enjoy watching it more. That's why it always comes down to let's have a slower Gears, because people enjoy watching it more.
Imagine, like we got excited. Like imagine, okay, I'm thinking play us versus former Ghost map 3 semifinals on bunker. Hefe hit a double kill, hit 2 reaction shots in a row, and that was like super cool. But imagine if that was in a single life game mode, like even hitting 1 reaction.
Everybody
shot,
sees it.
That would be a stand up, lose your shit play, rather than like, oh, that was like really nice. Like that would be an entire like not 1 seat in a chair.
But let me tell it to you like this, CrazyTrain. Everybody sees double kills. It's just a double kill. How hard can it be? They see double kills on the kill feed all the time. But I say that because the respawn game modes have watered down some of the awesome moments that happen in Gears and some of the awesome things that people and then some of the awesome plays that players make have been watered down because of them happening on somewhere in a map that is not caught because of so much actions happening, or the fan says, they see people getting double kills all the time, but it's just like, hey, but what he did was very, very difficult. But it's just that the mode in which he did it in, it gives it no weight anymore. It doesn't make it feel, it doesn't give you that Gears experience as a viewer.
So I don't remember if it was mental explosive, but someone caught, I think it was like a 4-piece coming out of their spawn in San Diego. It was against, I forget who it was against, but someone caught like a 4-piece. And I remember that being like huge and everyone lost it, right? But that is so hard to do. And because the way damage works in Gears of War and the health and reviving, that's like never going to happen. I don't think we'll see another like 4-piece in the fashion it was in a 1v4 in Gears season.
I miss 1v4. I miss 1v4s and 1v5s.
Even if you were to catch, even if you were just to catch a double kill in a single life game mode, that's huge,
bro.
And it's more likely to happen. So those explosive moments, that electric feeling, is more likely to happen more often.
Yeah, it will. You get more of those epic moments. Like I don't like our epic moments that happen in escalation are far in between than if they were to happen if they were to happen in execution. Right?
It's a 1v around a hill, and if you win it, cool. Like
cool, okay, cool. You going to
that is in my eyes the most explosive moment in Gears of War is a 1v over a hill.
So my thing is, somebody said in chat that people wouldn't want to play on PC because all the crashes and all the time. There's plenty of esports on PC. Crashes happen, like Apex, like, but a lot of those games they are in beta. Like a lot of those games aren't even like technically classified to be out of beta and stuff, right? They say that, okay, cool, we're in alpha, we're in beta, and we're knocking this stuff out. And so to them, the crashes are kind of acceptable from that standpoint, in a sense.
Yeah.
But, you're going to have those issues. I think we agreed that, field of view, FPS has to be locked to whatever the console settings are if you do cross-platform. But in the end, if you get better matches on PC, if you get more people playing, I think, that's something that's super cool. But that transition is another, granted, I don't know if our events are like kind of sponsored by Xbox and they got a big hand and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because like, that's money. You might have to find new sponsors and stuff for that if you want to do it. It's a lot of things to factor in, right? But I think what we're all saying is definitely not. Yeah. But I think we all agree that Gears plays super awesome on PC.
Oh, 100%.
And it shows the game the best way on PC. And if you can ever solve that problem, then let's solve it.
My biggest concern from a competitive environment of playing the game on PC would be the mouse and key factor of it. I would be 1,000,000%, no hesitation, no concerns playing on PCs with a controller. No concerns there. If you cap FPS and you cap, whatever else.
At that point,
it's just controller. I'm on board doing it now. I'm downloading Gears on my PC now.
Well, for you,
USB.
The solution to what you're saying is wait for the new Xbox to come out because that's going to be 120 frames from what they've said. It's pretty much got the best AMD chips in there. It's going to be hopefully it plays like that but hopefully that Gears on that Xbox plays like PC. That's what I hope, right? I hope you get that type of experience as things get upgraded and it gets optimized for, which I'm pretty sure they should be able to do. If that's the case, then that's going to be awesome, and we got some great days ahead of us, and we're going to have some happy players ahead of us as well.
I think we got great days ahead of us regardless. We've seen
I believe in that.
Again, Gears of War giving us what we want, just slower than we like it. We talked about having boom shots on the home hill. Hated that. Okay, cool. They got rid of it. It just took longer than we'd like. We talked about how broken the Marska was. You could not deviate from that meta because of how broken it was. That got changed. That got moved. All the largest concerns we've had with like games being too long or the amount of lives, things like that. All of our major concerns that we've expressed as a community have been addressed with certain outliers, but it just takes time.
Time,
And I
man.
think we're being impatient.
I don't got patience, CrazyTrain. Get off my back.
I understand that.
I don't got patience.
I wish I didn't have to be patient, but I'm very, very much the kind of person with I'm gonna work with what I have now. 'Cause that is my job.
Same here, right? And you know, and I think even some people tried to come at me for my language on how I talked about the game, and I tried to tell people, I said, man, y'all don't like put yourself in my shoes and try to, you know, go do a broadcast and be excited for something that you know people aren't excited about, right?
It's hard.
And to be excited about and to entertain some people that you know that they might not even, you know, think so much about. But for me, I just put it in perspective, and I was telling this to PR that, yo, we got to find fun moments. Like, we got to make it fun, and we got to talk to the fan who is here to represent the players, who is here to watch these players, who are fans of the esport. Even if it's one person in the chat, I'm talking to that person. I don't care about anybody else. Y'all can say whatever y'all want. I don't care about y'all. I'm talking to the Gears esports fan who's been watching this every year, who's been following these players, who love it. That's the only person I care about. Anybody else, I don't care about y'all. Okay, listen, y'all not on my mind. And exactly. I would give you an example. Like last week, like 2 weeks ago, because my thing is with the schedule, I'm like, yo, can we not have whack matches at the end? Can we not have whack matches to end fight night? And so when we had the Orbit and Reciprocity match, I was telling PR, I said, yo, this is our match of the night. And we're going to sell it as our match of the night. If it's the last game on broadcast, it is the match of the night, and we will hype it up.
Fighting UFC. You have your card. It takes like an hour and a half.
Simple,
and then
right?
The prize card comes at the end.
And even though Orbit got blown out, it was entertaining. You know, because we gas it up. We put him on a pedestal. Yeah. And, you know, but we made something out of it. We made it meaningful. And, you know, I would do whatever I can to make sure that we still put on a good show. Even if y'all don't like the game, I'm going to make y'all laugh. I'm going to do my best to make y'all laugh. I'm going to do my best to educate y'all. I'm going to do my best to make sure that you guys get something out the stream. You guys have a great time. Okay?
That's what I'm trying to do as a coach is I get very, very limited. Like, I feel like more limited in influence coach, but every time I'm on stage, bro, you'll see other coaches standing there watching over their guys. If you watch back on VOD, back on film, if I'm standing there, I'm looking over different people's shoulders. You'll see me pacing a lot, bouncing. When they did the recap, like half of Hive in the recap was me yelling, talking trash at people. Like, I want to make this game fun because I have fun, and I've always been me. I've always done whatever I think is fun. Like, I made a video that was 2 minutes long about brushing my teeth with hot water. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you saw that. You know what?
I heard about it. I never saw it though.
I thought it was funny. It blew my mind because I'd only use cold water, bro. I went to San Diego. I had a fan come up to me and say, "I brush my teeth with hot water now."
You know what? And you know what? I don't. But I'm about to start. I'm about to think about brushing my teeth with hot water because you're right. I just naturally go for cold. I naturally go for cold. You know, but why not?
But like, tell me, what can I do to help? I absolutely love being able to come on Hotline like this, Hotseat, everything else. I love creating content. I've streamed, I think, like 32 hours in 3 days. I like love what I do, and I'm not getting the eyes on it because I've been inconsistent in the past. But like this conversation, me realizing the privilege I have, what can I do? How can I help? Let me buy plane tickets out. Let me get out to California. Let me talk with you on Gears Unlimited. Like, what can I do? I love this scene. I'm new to it. Like,
if you in Cali at any time, all you gotta do is hit me up and say Blaze. I want to be
couches in Cali.
Check this out. Hey, Tuesday we film Gears Unlimited on Tuesdays. It's not every Tuesday, but we do it on Tuesdays. Okay. And if you out here around that time, anybody in the chat, West Coast Gears player.
Oh yeah.
You want to be on it? I could probably make that happen. Okay. I'm always looking for guests. So if you out here and you just let me know, and we'll set it up. We will set it up in advance for you to be there on that date. Okay.
I just want to know what I can. There's the people in this Gears community who know me like intimately, like have really spent time with me, who have been like reached out to me, like amateur players who have reached out to me asking like, hey, questions about this. I know you're probably not going to respond. And then like I respond and like follow them back. Like it makes their like week, and like whatever I can do to like do the dirty work and do the not fun stuff for this community, like I'm here. I've been in this community forever. I've gotten dropped off of so many different teams. I've been trying to coach for like 2 years now.
I will let
And
you
no
know,
one's
like,
ever heard of me. Like, oh
if
my God, I
you-
love
if you-
this. I've made it. I'm on this platform. And I'm so thankful.
that's
And I
that's a
have to do this
grind,
every
baby. That is
sport.
a grind.
Like
I
I
love
average,
it.
like I think I said like 2.8 viewers per stream, and I'm out there doing it, and I love it, and I need to take more advantage of it because the fact that I'm not getting more eyes on me isn't anyone else's fault but mine. It means I'm not streaming consistently. It means I'm not like entertaining, or like sometimes I'll stream and I won't be talking even when no one's there. Like that's on me, and I respect that, and I understand that now because I'm thinking about it. So like, what do I got to do? Tell me. Let me know.
Man, hey, I love the enthusiasm. I love that energy.
I got the advantage. I'm a kid, bro.
Yo,
I'm still about it.
You almost remind me a little bit of a younger Fatal Strike in a sense, you know.
That's
Fatal,
my method right there.
Little Joe back in the day, and you know what? We are approaching the time of the hot seat I did with Fatal Strike. That was like a 2 hour and 40-minute broadcast. We were just over 2 hours, so that definitely is your mentor. Definitely is your mentor.
He's awesome. I reached out to him, and I wish people would do the same thing. I reached out to him. I said, "Yo, I'm going to Boston, bro. I bought my plane ticket. Like I saved up a bunch of money my senior year, bought a plane ticket and shit like that. And I was like, hey, do I need headphones? Do I need to bring my controller? Like, I've never been to LAN. What do I do?" And he like gave me like real time.
And Joe, I would tell you that
what to do.
Joe would do
made
that.
A huge, profound impact on me. If he hadn't responded, I likely would not be here today. And that goes to other people I've reached out to. I reached out to Ashes, who gave me awesome info as well. I reached out to different players. There are people who have put me on this platform I'm at now, like all the Hydra guys, like who like took a shot on me, like barely being able to coach them and not being very, very well known, not being super talented at the time. Like there are so many people who have built me to where I am now, that it's a disservice to them if I don't stream every day excited. Bring this game to a new level.
You sound like a grown... Yo, how old are you? You sound like a grown man the way you talking, CrazyTrain.
And then also, like, my team's undefeated. I lost to a straw. Like, that's literally the mindset I have. And everyone is so quick to praise me. And, like, I hate that because my team jokes about it and knows, like, Crazy didn't come up with that strat because it's nerdy, though. He gets the credit. And I'm like, I'm trying to tell people, bro. Like, y'all are smart as hell. Like, I am so real with myself that this shit is easy. It's going to happen. I'm going to blow up. I'm going to be a huge content creator. I'm going to be there. It's just a matter of time.
Stop speaking so much positivity in your life, okay? You're giving up the secrets of the world, okay?
It's easy. It's not hard.
Stop speaking so much positivity into your life, okay? You're annoying me. No, I'm joking. But yo, I will say, you guys out
positivity into your life.
Yo, I appreciate that. But yo, I'm happy that your hard work has gotten you to this point, and I think that is so awesome. Something else, you know, you brought something up that I want to touch bases on is that when it comes down to players out there that got followings and a fan base and top pro players out there that may be listening to this, a part of the, you know, the orgs, you should be replying back to everybody who sends you a message. Anybody in your DM, how do I become a pro? I'm a fan. You should reply back to everybody, even if you just like the message. You should interact with anybody who interacts with you because you ain't got it like that yet. You ain't that hot. I'm letting you know that right now. You ain't that hot. I'm not that hot. Okay, we ain't that hot.
I will PayPal anyone in the Gears of War scene who can find me an unedited screenshot of interaction fan isn't reacted to back with at least a like or a tweet or a DM I haven't responded to. $20 on PayPal. If you can scroll back until, I don't know, we'll stop at, I don't know, March of 2019. If you can find when I haven't done that. And I'm going to keep doing it until it's impossible for me because of the amount of people in my DMs. I'm going to keep doing it. Yeah.
And so, you know, and I feel you. I feel you on that. I feel you on that wholeheartedly. Even for me, you know, I'm just I'll throw out a like. Even if I in the present moment that I'm too busy that I read it and I can't reply, I'm at least liking your tweet to show you that I took time to read it and I'm liking it. I just hope that you understand I can't reply right now just because, you know, I'm fucking always doing 1,000 things at once but never get anything done because
there's also certain tweets. So certain tweets that are either like oppressively negative or are just like don't warrant a response or don't actually.
That's true, and people just people just trying to get a rise out of you or get you to say something, or they just
like it. I will still probably like it. I'm just not gonna take time to.
Bro, like I try my hardest, like not to like. See, that's the thing is I don't know how to just. I can talk to you in a business way, and I can be cool in that sense. I can even be talk at you from a smart ass business standpoint and be politically correct every single time. I hit a bunch of spit in my mouth, but don't worry about that.
Yeah,
Don't worry. I'm doing my VO classes. I'm working on my speech, but hey, you know me. I'm always getting better here and there. I fuck up sometimes with some shit, but it's all good.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh, yeah, I
hey,
do
we
too.
all human, and always remember that. Okay, that your boy always perfecting his craft. But gosh, damn it, I forgot what I was about to say. Shit, what was
That's
it?
on me. That's
Yeah,
on me.
no,
I take stuff in all sorts of directions.
no,
I don't
you
filter.
definitely do.
A lot.
No, but you know what? This has been a great conversation. This has been a great
100%.
conversation. I
I'm
appreciate.
glad I could finally make it.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It really was. It was a good conversation today, and I appreciate you guys out there in the chat as well. Who tuned in, who's been here for the last 2 hours listening to us talk about Gears.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about the hot seat is just getting all community members here. You don't have to be known. As long as you got something that you want to talk about, you let me know and say, hey, I really want to talk on this topic. Find a date to get you in here. That's why I kind of increased it from doing a 1v1 thing to having multiple spots. Okay.
Yeah.
Data came in my chat the other day and says, hey Blaze, I'm down to come on a hot seat and even talk about some new stuff that may happen in Gears. And I'm like, yo, that's awesome. So I'm gonna get with him. Maybe that's next week's episode. And I'm gonna make that one a good one. I told myself if I get Dana, maybe I invite Infinity on board and get some other people. Maybe I bring Kenny back. Maybe I bring Kenny back as well. And it could be the four of us talking and and see what type of conversation we can have and what we want to talk about. But I'm just trying to make it meaningful for you guys and get y'all questions answered and give y'all a platform in which to speak on. So I love all the support and what you guys give us. I don't care if it's one person watching, 20 people watching, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just all about it's all about just first off me just talking about Gears of War, which I love, and having conversations with other people about something that I love, and how do we make the game that we love more meaningful for us and more fun for the fans and more watchable for the viewers, and also make our esport meaningful to the developer and make them want to keep supporting it. Because I know sometimes over there, I know some people in TC be looking like, why we doing this esports shit again?
Yeah. And I think
why we doing this esports thing again with these players? Like we already made the money off the campaign. Our horde is dope. Guardian is even lit, but why we doing this?
So I'm an international business student at Ohio State. I'm all in idea, and I'm going to talk to it again slightly, bringing it up again.
Hold on, say you kind of cut out. You're an international business student at Ohio State, and what?
Yeah, so this sort of thing is what I love. Like this sort of problem. How do we get someone to care about it? If we can give them the numbers, because they've demonstrated the numbers matter to them a lot, and they make a lot of numbers-based decisions. If we can demonstrate numbers in this esports thing, they're not only going to continue supporting us, they're going to increase their growth. If we can demonstrate that their investment in us is exponential in result, they're just going to do it just because it makes sense business-wise, regardless of culture, regardless if they care. That's how you make people who don't care still do things that help us who do care.
Also, too, when you make a game like Gears 5, where they talk about we're going to be making constant updates over and over, like this game is going to be living for a long time, they want the esports to succeed because, especially the way a lot of the developers have been moving towards that, selling that in-game content. That in-game content, that weekly content. How can you keep more people playing your game? And that comes down to multiplayer. Hey, you campaign, you can knock that out and do everything that you want to do, beat it on a saying that only has an X amount of time on it. Multiplayer will keep people on your game for extended periods. Now, Gears is awesome because millions will buy it for the campaign. Now, I don't know how much money they make back if they can, cover all their costs, but I assume so. But after that, the money that they can make off multiplayer is even greater. It probably will never be greater, but it's definitely money. And so they want to make it well.
The reason multiplayer is so important is because the time investment for a multiplayer match, especially with matchmaking, as it's been a lot better. I got into 5-stack King of the Hill matches like 2 days ago, like really consistently. Is the time invested into a match? You could turn Gears of War on, load into the screen, play a match or two, turn it off, and that took you 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, right? Depending on what game mode you're playing.
Is that too long?
No, that's what's awesome. Is if you play Horde, if you play a 20-minute Horde match, you suck at Horde.
And
if you're playing Escape, right, it takes real dedication and hours to be able to run through hard escapes quickly, like in 20 minutes time, right? And that's what's so special about multiplayer is like the amount of investment it takes in your player isn't that much. Anyone can hop on and play a quick match in between classes, right? For me in college, I do that. In between, other events, right? Turn it on, boot it up, send a text, get a buddy on, go play 2v2 Nasher. That game could take 5 minutes.
You know where our pro players may mess up at, and they might not just have the love for the other aspects of Gears outside of multiplayer, but for the ones who really love playing Escape, Horde, Campaign, all of that, step away from the esports side and tap into the Gears fan who loves all aspects of the game, right? Tap away from the hardcore esports fan, because you probably already got them and they know who you are. But if you love doing escape runs and you love doing Horde, try to find some way to go in that community and say, hey, hi, I'm so-and-so. You guys want to play some escape with me? And see what that may do. Show that, you're having fun on other aspects of Gears, and what type of, because if you're one of the best Gears players in the world, find a way to put yourself in front of all of Gears and let them love you, right? Find some way to expand that. And in turn, they will follow you back to the esports side, 100%. Find ways to maximize this opportunity. But I don't think a lot of people, sometimes people just, they don't like that side, or they feel uncomfortable going to that side, or they just want to kind of stick to what they know. And, granted, but at the end of the day, and I think it's still my pinned tweet, uncomfortable situations will make us grow. Yeah. Okay. Real growth comes from being uncomfortable. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you always happy, you always comfortable, you always doing this and that, you only go so far. Okay, guys.
What I love most about that statement is you said uncomfortableness creates growth. That means you have to be uncomfortable first before the growth. That's what I love.
And you gotta put yourself in that situation. In some situations you won't put yourself in, and you'll rise to the occasion and get out. You know what I'm saying? Cool, that's great. But when you intentionally say, you know what, this is what's happening right now, and I really don't like it, but don't worry, I'm about to go be my best. All right. Yeah. Real growth comes from shit like that. All right. Man, great conversation, CrazyTrain. I know we ended it like 20 minutes ago and went into another conversation, but just because it's so easy talking to you. I say something, you say something, and we can go back and forth here for hours. It's almost like you needed your own personal hot seat to discuss all these topics. But
I'm definitely lacking.
But for the record, for the people out there on YouTube, Spotify, wherever they may be watching this, let them know where they can follow you and keep in contact with you at.
Most dope. I'm going to keep it easy with y'all. Twitch and Twitter are where you guys are going to find me the most. It's at Coach CrazyTrain on both. Super simple, no caps, no spaces. But again, reach out to me. Do not be afraid to reach out to you. I said it and I mean it. And that $20 offer still stands. I respond to everyone. I genuinely care about so many different people, and I will love this esport. And anytime you guys come into my stream, say hi for 30 seconds. That makes my stream for me. Absolutely love it. I've been lacking a lot on stream in the past 2 months and didn't ride San Diego energy well at all. That was a huge mistake. One of the biggest ones in my career after losing to Astral. But riding that energy is something I didn't do, and I'm trying to build up that momentum. But we're gonna get there. But at Coach CrazyTrain on Twitch and Twitter, and that's all me.
Hey, it's the right time, and I love your energy. I love your perspective, and I love your mindset. And it shows, and it's showing in your success as well, and it shows in your team success that you love what you're doing, and that's translated throughout the entire roster. It's translated throughout y'all placements, and I do believe that a lot of members in our community can learn a lot about you and your state of mind, and so and your perspective. So much love again to that, guys. If you're just joining us or you made it towards the back end, I want to give one more last shout out to Brohog Plays and Face for coming through as well. They had to leave a little bit earlier, so this last hour of the hot seat kind of just been, so technically CrazyTrain did get an hour dedicated to himself of us conversating towards the back end, but it was all fun. Wherever you guys are watching, make sure that you guys enjoy me. You're enjoying this podcast. You can give me a follow at Guy Blaze on all social media. You'll be able to find me. It's Guy Blaze Live on Twitter, and it's Blaze on Twitch, but you should be able to find me by typing in Guy Blaze.
Right. You should have seen it by now. It's
in
the bottom right of that stream.
And so hey, I appreciate you. Like, subscribe, follow Spotify, and nothing but love. Till next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.